everybody, it's episode 323 of PodQuest.
Hey everyone.
It's Wednesday, October 28th, 2020. I am Chris. With me is Walnut.
Yeah, I'm here.
You threw me off a little bit. I'm used to you guys going, woo!
I'm kind of in brose mode as well, because we're recording brose this weekend, and I was also looking at the outline, so I forgot that I had to respond at that point.
It's cool. It was just one of those, like, not the normal reaction, so it was one of those, like, oh shit, what am I supposed to say next? Like, I've got such, like, an autopilot for the beginning and the end at this point.
Yeah. I trust me, I get it. I threw a loop into Matt's whole spiel by making an Instagram for Brose today. So now there's that he has to remember and plug at the beginning and end of every episode.
Well, do you guys plug your Twitter?
Yeah, we plug our Twitter, which is
your Twit.
Is it the same? Yeah, so all he has to say on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do. Like,
yeah.
Because otherwise, yeah, I would 100% forget to do one or the other if they were.
Yeah.
But we got lucky, and they're not. They're the same, so...
Oh, I was mad because I also made myself an Instagram for the first time ever. I've never had Instagram, and guess what I couldn't get?
I saw, because I actually have the OneQuest Instagram on my phone. I saw you follow us, and I was very confused. So, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't understand what was happening at first. I thought it was Twitter. I'm just like, wait, has he really not followed the OneQuest Twitter in all this time? And then I clicked on the notification, and it opened up Instagram. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I never had an Instagram. And B_Walnuts, for some unknown goddamn reason, is not available. So I had to go with the 006 that we used to add at the end of our things.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, I hate it so much. I might.
Also, sorry if my mic just jumped around a whole bunch. Audacity moved it down on its own, so I had to my fucking thing must be set to like auto adjust. That's annoying.
That sucks.
I'm sure there's a way to turn that off.
Actually, I think I might have to turn mine up a smidge, but it's fine.
You're coming through at least here, okay?
Yeah, Audacity's picking it up, but the waveforms sometimes seem a little low, but it's not a big deal. I have a very bassy voice, which is why that happened.
Yeah, I understand. I wonder what the fuck happened on my laptop that all of a sudden all this stupid shit is just not cooperating.
Maybe an update, maybe just... It's not a full moon, I don't think. I don't think there's a moon out at all. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the Starlink satellites that are up in the atmosphere. There's like, I think 100 of them right now? Or 900 of them? I can't remember. It's a high number, but not as high as it's going to be. It's going to be like 60,000, and it's nowhere near that.
Okay, yeah.
Which makes me think
about that.
Yeah, it's Elon Musk's satellite internet, high-speed satellite internet. Which didn't we used to do satellite internet and it sucked?
I mean, yeah, like satellite internet was a thing once upon a time.
He's trying to get like high-speed internet to rural areas, so it's like weekly or bi-weekly they are sending up rockets with satellites, trying to position them all around the planet and get them in orbit. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, that is weird.
Yeah, pretty soon it's going to be like WALL-E here, where like we're just covered in satellites. They might be sponsored at some point, so your internet might have ads for ShopRite just because it's a ShopRite Starlink satellite or something.
I mean, does that mean we get all those cool chairs then to just ride around in and get like our food like given to us? I
mean, when we leave the planet, yeah.
I'm not against that.
I kind of am. I'm already fat as it is. I don't need to be fatter. Anyway, let's get into the show.
Yeah, so PS5 accessories have made it into the wild.
They shipped, and most people are getting them probably today or tomorrow or yesterday. Mine shipped from Central Jersey, went up to Jersey City, and then came down to South Jersey. Made no sense.
Yeah, no, that's how shipping is weird.
Yeah.
Shipping is very, very weird.
Yeah, but I got my headset and my charge dock. Charge dock is tiny. It's a lot smaller than I was expecting. And the headset, I practiced it, I tested it out. Really good quality. The microphone probably in a silly position. I sent you a picture earlier that you got cut off because Audacity wasn't or not Audacity, Zencastr wasn't working all that well. So I didn't really get to hear what you had to say about it.
I mean, it's hard to really tell where the microphone is supposed to be on that.
It's above the ear on the right No, left earpiece.
So it's not actually built, like, it's not like a wand that you can, like, maneuver. It's just there above it.
Yeah, you can't maneuver it. You can't move it around. Oh, I think there's a microphone on both earpieces. But, like, they're supposed to be, quote, hidden microphones, is what they said. So, like, it's just not that, it's good, it's fine. It's just a little muffled. But, like, it's gonna work for gaming, and it's comfortable. The ear part is comfortable, at least. My issue right now is, like, the rubber part that, like, rests on your head, because the springs are so tight right now, it's kind of uncomfortable and a little too snug, for my personal opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. But overall, it's good. It's got, it came with, 3.5 millimeter, jacks, so that you can, say the headset dies, you can plug it into your controller or your phone or whatever, and you don't need to have power going to it to use at least the audio. You can't have the mic, but you can, like, no power needed for the speakers themselves.
Yeah.
There's a mute button. There's buttons to turn down the volume for either the game or the chat audio. There's obviously just a generic volume button. And the thing I find craziest, there's a monitor on it.
Like a monitor so that you can hear yourself?
Yeah, you can hear yourself and how you're coming through to your friends.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't test out with that. I haven't played any games with it yet, or played any games with friends. I just played Avengers on lunch by myself, solo. Because it's what I do to do my dailies now. I play on lunch. It takes not even an hour to do all my dailies. Yeah, it's a nice headset. And I honestly think it was worth the price. $100, kind of pricey, but at the same time, it sounds really good for a set of wireless headsets. Like, I use Audio-Technica wired headset for recording this, and those come out just as clear, if not clearer, than these Audio-Technica ones that I bought less than 4 months ago at, like, I think $80.
Wow. Yeah, I just bought, I think they're a Turtle Beach headset.
Mm-hmm.
I bought them because it was one of, like, the Amazon Prime deals. Like, they were like $40 instead of like $80 or something like that. They're wired, which is what I wanted. I didn't want wireless.
Yeah.
I specifically wanted it for, like, this sort of stuff. Like, I'm not using the microphone part of it. Strictly the headphone part. I wanted like a good, comfortable pair of over-ear headphones.
Yeah.
Because, like, the ones I had were just, they weren't like really over, like, they were over ear, but they didn't, like, cover your whole ear, and they're kind of small, so they squeeze, and it was really uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's kind of, my Audio-Technica ones are a little bit smaller than my ear, just a smidge, but I do have big ears, so I can't really get too mad about that. That's just genetics on my end. But the PlayStation ones are big enough that my big Dumbo ears can fit in it comfortably.
Which I guess is a good thing for you, right?
It is. It is a good thing for me. Like I said, it's comfortable on the ears. I just need, like, the springs to loosen up on, like, the rubber part that touches your head and holds them up so that, like, it doesn't feel as, like, snug on there. And it's great. Eric says that they're just as good, if not better, than the Platinums that they had for the PlayStation 4, which are wired, and you needed them for, like, VR. And the headphones, you can plug it into your computer with the dongle, and I was testing out, like, your computer will pick up the audio. That's how I was able to test it out earlier. And I was listening to some music with them, and they're good. They're like, honestly, if you're just looking for headphones, especially in this Zoom world that we've got, $100 for these is a solid price, especially since you're probably going to be using them a lot.
You said that the actual chat audio from, like, your end was a little muffled, though?
Yeah, it's a little muffled, but it's not crazy. Like, it maybe turn up the audio on your PC for it to pick it up better, potentially could help, but it wasn't, like, terrible. It was fine for, like, it would work for, like, Zoom meetings or work meetings and gaming and things like that.
Okay. Well, that's cool. I'm glad it was not a waste of money for you, at the very least.
Yeah, it's me too. I'm hoping that I can get some gaming in with some friends tonight to see how, like, the whole chat feature, turn up and down the volume of the game feature works with these.
So, do you know if all those features are actually supposed to work the same on the PS4 as they will on the PS5?
I have no idea. I didn't really look up into it. This is something we talked about in the group chat. I wasn't expecting to get these early, so I didn't do any research on them. I was just like, I want a good pair of headphones for the PlayStation 5, so I bought them. And then found out, oh, you can play it on the PS4. Oh, you can also use it on your PC. Oh, here's a little connector so that you can listen to music on your phone with it as well. And it's like, oh, these are like pretty universal headphones. So now I have to look into that and see how that stuff works.
Yeah, because I know a lot of like the party chat features are supposed to be bigger with the PS5, and apparently some of the chat features and party features got kind of fucked on the PS4 from what I was seeing.
I was trying to do a party with friends the other day, playing a Division, and it really doesn't make sense because, like, I create the party and I invite a friend, and it's now, like, be Walnuts party with friends names party, and I'm like, why isn't it just, like, be Walnuts, what, like, it kept calling the party my friend's names party. I don't know what his actual, like, handle is, so I just know that it's him, because we have, show real names. So, like, I don't...
Okay.
So that's why I'm just saying friend's name. But it's like, it's friend's name's party. And I'm like, no, it's my party. It's not friend's name's party. And he never joined the party either, so I don't even know if he got the invite. Or he might have been away from his PlayStation at the time, too.
Yeah, that's always possible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm regretting not getting a controller right now. I'm slightly regretting not getting a controller.
Oh, right, because you didn't get a second controller.
No, I didn't get a second controller, but like 5 to 6 hour lifespan on the controllers, it shouldn't cause a big issue, hopefully, but on the weekends I tend to play a lot, so it might. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess you'll find out, right?
Yeah, find out in a couple of weeks. I know it was like rumored, or some places had set out that the PS5 release date was going to be October 30th or 31st.
Like, I never saw that.
Some retail stores, I think somebody sent it to me. Some retail stores had the PlayStation 5 listed as like October 30th or 31st.
Oh, you're talking about like before like pre-orders?
No, after pre-orders, recently.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely wasn't me. I know, so wait, I'm sorry, let's go back. Are you talking about PS5 or just the PS5 accessories?
PS5.
No, so the PS5 accessories all had their release dates moved October 30th. Okay. PS5s were all, like, have been set for the 11th or 12th or whenever that's supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it's the accessories that were all moved to the 30th. I think because they were just trying to get them out before. Yeah. Get them out of the way, since there's not really anything that can be done with them that would break like an embargo necessarily.
Yeah, it makes sense. It also makes sense to ship them early and get them out there early, so that like there's less you have to worry about when shipping things later, when shipping things in the like for the PlayStation. There's only one package you should be getting instead of 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and this way, not even just like 3, 4, or 5 packages it's getting, but it's less that Sony now has to worry about with their pre-orders. Yeah. They allowed you to pre-order all of that stuff directly.
Yeah, exactly.
But aside from you getting this stuff this week, media all started getting PS5s also.
Okay.
So there've been, if you look online, there are 101 fucking unboxing videos for the PS5 and for the Xboxes. Yeah. Because media also started getting actual retail Xboxes rather than just the pre-retail prototype versions.
Yeah.
Couple things that I've gotten from some of the different outlets talking about the PS5, though. It's very large. Like, it is as big as you think it is.
Okay.
But apparently it grows on you. Like the look of it and everything. Like, you do kind of get used to it.
I don't mind the look, as long as I can lay it flat. That's all. Like,
you can.
Like, I generally don't really look at the console because it's, like, hidden away in my entertainment center.
That's true, and you have that big, like, ottoman thing in front of everything.
Yeah,
you got rid of that in the last 8 months.
No, I still have it, and especially with the dog being a temporary dog owner, I had it pushed up closer so he couldn't, like, get to stuff that was in there, so...
So one thing you should take into account, then, is airflow. Make sure that, like, there's plenty of airflow on whatever shelf you put that PS5.
Yeah, I might swap my entertainment centers and have the one that I have upstairs, bring that down here, and put the one down here upstairs, it has a lot more open space where, like, the consoles would go.
Right. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about the one that we have has, like, that cardboard backing.
Yeah.
To make it, like, enclosed, and it just has, like, the holes on each level to put your wires through.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about pulling it out and taking that off.
Mm-hmm.
And this way it's just kind of open in the back.
Neither of mine have that backing, so, like, that's not a big deal. It's more, like, from top of the console to top of the thing, I want to make sure there's enough space.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. And then they're also... they've talked a bunch about the DualSense, and apparently it's quite good. People really like it. They like the way it feels. They like the way different games work with it. The only thing that anyone's been allowed to talk about so far is Astro's Playroom, and only the first level.
Yeah.
But apparently the like haptic feedback and the pressure sensitive stuff and all of those little features that they were kind of touting about the controller are actually really good and actually make it feel like an actual step up in a controller rather than kind of what the DualShock 3 to the DualShock 4 was, or even really, frankly, what the Xbox One to the Xbox Series X is. Like,
yeah.
That controller looks almost identical. Like, if you hold them side by side, the only thing that really, really gives it away is they changed the D-pad on the new Xbox.
Yeah.
So rather than being just the plus D-pad, it's the circular D-pad.
Okay, and then so it gives, like, the angled directions as well for fighting gamers.
Yeah, but, like, the PlayStation has the very it's still the traditional PlayStation. Same D-pad, same face buttons. Apparently the face buttons there's not as much, like, push to them. Like, I guess the way that a few places were saying is they feel a little mushy, but that it's not bad.
Okay.
And the triggers feel good, the sticks all feel good. They're new controllers, so it's hard to really judge on that. But a lot of places were saying that they have a good like tightness to them.
Mm-hmm.
So that all bodes well. And apparently that Astro's Playroom is actually really good.
From what I hear, like, I have friends who have the VR that that play the Astro's Playroom on there as well.
It's the Astrobot Rescue.
Yeah, whatever it is, and it's like apparently it's just a great game in general.
Yeah, I mean that was one of those VR games that everyone really liked.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that bodes well for it. And it's a pack-in, so at least people have a fun platformer to play if they don't get anything else on launch day.
Yeah.
And actually, I think I forgot to include this. Yeah, so I'm going to throw this in here because I forgot to include it. I think I said it in the chat, actually, with you guys earlier. Sony has come out and said that in the first 12 hours that the PS5 was up for pre-order, they sold more pre-orders or equal pre-orders than the first 12 weeks that the PS4 was available for pre-order.
That's insane.
Yeah, so that's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Really. So who knows what that's going to sort of mean in the future, I guess. Yeah. But they're saying that, there might not be any in retail for people that weren't able to pre-order.
Which sucks, but, like, I mean, I understand. With both production probably being slowed down due to the virus and everything, as well as just, like, demand for this thing, I'm not surprised it's happening.
Yeah, same here. Like, it's not crazy to think that something like that would be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just sticking with Sony for a little while here. They have a page up right now on their support stuff that you can request the PS4 camera adapter so that you can use your PSVR on your PS5.
Okay.
So with people getting the consoles for review and everything like that and doing these unboxings, we saw that there was no pack-in adapter.
Yeah.
No one was really sure up front like how this was going to work. Sony just said that it would be free. So the way it's going to work apparently is there's a support page you can go to, and you have to enter the serial number of your PSVR, which is found on like the back of the little pass-through box.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as that's a valid serial number, they'll take your shipping information and ship you one of these adapters so that you can plug the camera in. That
makes sense to do it that way because, like, for instance, I don't have a PSVR. I don't need this thing, and I'm sure newer versions of the PSVR will probably ship with this adapter. or have the capabilities of connecting without needing it.
So if they ever do a PSVR 2, they will probably build it so that it works with the PS5 camera. For whatever reason, the PS5 camera just can't be used with the PSVR.
Okay, yeah.
So you have to use the PS4 camera. Which, yeah, it's kind of a bummer that you need, like, an adapter and all, because that thing is, like, a weird port. Like, it's not a normal plug for it.
No.
And yeah, I tried to go in and order one today, and it just kept telling me that there was an error and I should call Sony support. So, I don't know if the page just wasn't ready yet, or what. Or maybe, I honestly could have even written down the serial number weird. It's very small in the back of that little box, and that box is in my entertainment stand, so it doesn't have a whole lot of slack for me to be able to just pull it out and turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, it could be that, it could be a combination of both. It could be that too many people were trying to do it right then and there.
Well, I mean, I tried it a couple times throughout the day, and
Okay.
it gave me that every time. So, and I did not see Sony officially say anything about it. Doesn't mean they didn't. I just didn't see that. I got it off of Wario64.
Okay.
So, I mean, and they even had two different URLs at one point. Like the first URL he tweeted, the page just like it had a captcha, like the click this button to prove you're not a robot. You click that, hit next, and it just looped right back to that page.
Okay.
And then like 20 minutes later, he tweeted out a second link that actually let you get to the enter serial number, which is why I think maybe it's just not all the way ready yet.
Yeah, probably.
What else do we have? Little PS Plus info. We usually don't talk about the free PS Plus games every month, but they announced November's lineup, and it includes a PlayStation 5 game.
Yeah, it's, Bugsnax.
Which I totally skipped something, so we're just gonna...
Just keep going and we'll
come
go back to it.
Yeah, so Bugsnax is going to be available for PS5 only on PS Plus. It's going to be available on launch day, November 11th, and it will be there until January 4th.
Yeah.
So, the PS4 games that will be available are also Shadow of War and Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition. So, those are actually both good. Well, I don't know if they're good games. Hollow Knight is apparently very good. People liked Shadow of War.
Hollow Knight is very good. I have it on the Switch. I don't think I have the Voidheart edition, but I have like the base for. No, I might have Voidheart. I can't remember, but I do have it on Switch. It's really good. One of those games that's like it's kind of Soulsy, but it's 2D. So like also not Souls. It's really cool. I really liked it. You might too, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, those are two games that people are definitely fond of, so they're good additions for people that don't have those games yet.
Yeah.
And then, like, we're getting a PS5 game for 2 months. So I'm not sure if this means it will be 2 months every time for, like, the at least early portion of the game. Because you figure they're not going to put major releases up. Like, they didn't do that for PS4. They're certainly not going to do it for PS5.
Yeah.
But so this bit ties into the one that I accidentally skipped. So Destruction All-Stars, that, like, weird Battle Royale Destruction Derby game that they revealed back in the summer.
Yeah.
That is no longer launching with the PS5 in November. It has been delayed to February.
Okay.
It is also now going to launch as a PS Plus game.
Didn't they already do an All-Stars game for the PlayStation 4 or PS?
You're thinking of, like, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, like the Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
This is like a Destruction Derby, like, car battle game.
Okay.
It's that, like, arena car battle game. It looks bad. It looks bad and forgettable.
Wait, was that the one where, like, once your car blows up, you're then running around as a person?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Right.
So Pete Smith, the director of product development, announced it on the PlayStation blog.
Yeah.
He said, Destruction All-Stars is a multiplayer game that's at its best when you're competing with gamers online from around the world.
Yeah.
We want as many people as possible experience the mayhem on PS5. And what better way to do that than to provide the game to our PlayStation Plus members? This game was originally going to be a $70 game.
Yeah.
They obviously realized that this game is not a $70 game and that there was going to be zero player base for it at launch if they didn't do something.
I mean, they are refunding pre-orders, so some people did pre-order it, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Look, I am sure they had probably, a couple thousand pre-orders around the world, because there are people that just pre-order everything.
Yeah.
But you don't want a game that requires an online community to only have a couple thousand pre-orders.
Yeah.
And frankly, like, looking at what that game was when they revealed it, that is not a game that's worth $70.
I feel like they might have also looked at the success of
Rocket League?
The Rocket League, but also the other one that just came out.
Fall Guys?
Yeah, Fall Guys. And how that released for free, basically, on PlayStation Plus. And it got such a huge player base. And I think that company probably just makes tons of money now on pretty much everything. Yeah, microtransaction.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely make money off of that and off of people buying it on other platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like, I have friends who want me to get it on the PC so I can play with them on the PC. Because there's no crossplay yet, still.
Yeah. I am sure that definitely factored into it when they were trying to figure out what the fuck to do with this game.
Yeah.
But it's also going to be available for 2 months on PlayStation Plus, starting in February. So it makes you wonder, are the PS5 games just going to be 2-month-long commitments for the first year? Like, are they going to be like the smaller indie games like they did on the PS4 and just cycle them like every other month or every third month? Because you figure, like, Bugsnax is available till January, and then Destruction All-Stars picks up in February.
Yeah, I mean, I see that being a reasonable thing, because there's not a lot out for the system right now, so for new games on that system, on top of the fact that they have the PS Plus collection, that we don't know if that costs extra money or not. I don't think...
I mean, they haven't said anything that leads me to think that it does.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it doesn't, but...
Yeah.
It could go either way. They did just reveal, like, the official lineup, which is going to be from Worldwide Studios, so first-party games. You'll get Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, God of War, Infamous Second Son, Ratchet & Clank, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Until Dawn, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. And then from third-party publishers, you'll get Batman Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies Chronicles Edition, Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat 10, or X, I don't know how they prefer it, Persona 5, and Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Yeah.
So, like, we've talked about most of that before. I think that list is pretty similar to what it was, but I feel like there's a couple of games that have been added to there.
One or two, not too many. I don't think we knew about Crash Bandicoot or Call of Duty.
I think you're right.
I think, for the most part, I think that's really all that's new. Maybe P5?
No, Persona 5 was definitely there.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing that and being like, oh, that's good for people that want to play Persona 5.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'll play it then. I'll finally, and I'm not trying to not buy Persona 5, I just...
No, that's exactly what you're trying to do, you son of a bitch.
No, I just haven't gotten around to buying Persona 5 to play it, but now that it's free, I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's free, and it's not like there is a particularly, like, compelling launch lineup for the PS5.
Yeah, at the moment, there's maybe one game I'm going to get at launch, and that's...
Which is Spider-Man?
No, it's actually Demon's Souls.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's not that I don't want to get Spider-Man, it's just... I'm fine with holding out on Spider-Man for a bit, and I've been really wanting to, like, get back into, like, the Souls-y type games and get into, like, play Bloodborne again, that, like, I might just get Demon's Souls, because I've never actually played the Souls games. I've only ever really played Bloodborne, so I want to give that a shot. So, that's what I'm thinking right now. I haven't fully decided yet.
Yes, I mean, like, I get that. Like, obviously, like, get the game that makes the most sense to you. I would go for the Spider-Man game, just because it is only, whatchamacallit? I'm drawing a blank on words. It's cheaper. It's not $70.
It's $60,
whereas,
right?
I think it's $50, actually.
Maybe. But honestly, if I were to get Spider-Man, I would get the $70 version to get the upgrade for the or to get the enhanced version for the original Spider-Man.
Oh, the remaster.
Yeah, and I would probably just play through both of them, which is kind of why I want to wait. Maybe wait until the summer to get that, because I'm gonna have a lot coming out over the next few months that, like, I want to wait until there's time to actually put into something like that.
What else is coming out over the next few months that you're interested in? I'm just drawing a blank on what's coming out.
Hyrule Warriors. Then, what the fuck is it called? Demon Souls. Potentially new Avengers content. Like, that's, like, potentially, because who knows how things are going with their releases for that.
Yeah.
In March is the new Monster Hunter. I feel like there's something in, like, January or February that I'm looking forward to, and I would know it once I saw it.
But you just can't place it.
And, there's one more, because it's gonna be that time, Cyberpunk 2021, now that it's being delayed, I actually feel like I can get that at a good time.
It's 2077.
What did I say?
You said 2021.
Or whatever. You know what, we're going into 2021, I want to get out of this year as fast as possible.
That's fair.
But yeah, like...
Also, if it keeps getting delayed, it'll be out in 2020.
Probably. But there is a good number of games that I am interested in, and I'm interested in Spider-Man, but that is a game that's, like, it's the open world type game that's going to take a long time to play, that I just feel like I should wait until I don't have other stuff.
Yeah, no, I get that. Other than Cyberpunk, I'm not actually interested in any of those games, so if I manage to get a PlayStation, I will get Miles.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't know that I would get the remaster or not. I don't really need to replay that game, but at the same time, like, I'm not against it.
Yeah, like, and that's, like, I'm also in that part, like, I just played Spider-Man this year.
Oh, that's right, you didn't play it at launch.
No, I didn't get it at launch. I got it for Christmas this past year.
Right.
Right? Yeah, I think I just played it this year. No, last year. No, that's right.
It came out September 2018.
Yeah, we weren't on lockdown until after February, because
it was like March.
Yeah, I played God of War, and then I had played Spider-Man, or maybe the other way around. So yeah, I hadn't. It's this year is when I had played it. So like I kind of just played it, so I too really don't need to go back to it and play it again. But I kind of just like I liked the story and the game enough to where I want to. And I want to see, like, how they graphically enhanced and remastered. Like we all know, they changed Pete's outlook, or face, entirely.
Yeah, he looks 12.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I just read, they released, they have what they unfortunately dubbed the Gamerverse comics.
Yeah.
Where they're the comics that take place in the same universe as the games. So... there were some Avengers ones that take place in the Avengers universe, and there have been 3 limited series for Spider-Man that take place in the game universe.
Okay.
The first one is just a retelling of the game's story,
okay,
with like a few things added here and there. So I literally just read the last issue of that last night. So there's not really anything new there for me.
I kind of want to get those Avengers comics.
I honestly haven't heard anything about them to know if they're any good.
Yeah,
but like it can't hurt.
No.
There haven't been that many of them.
No, the game came out a month and a half ago, 2 months ago.
Well, the comics came out before the game released.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel used to always do that with, like, their releases in general. Like, they had comics for the MCU, like, prequel comics.
Oh, they still do.
They still do that?
Yeah, there is a Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, limited series that was just running. Might still be running.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they make their money every which way they can.
Oh, yeah, I mean... They're owned by Disney. They're gonna.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll see about the 2 months deals with these PS Plus titles, but I mean, it kind of makes sense for now for it to be 2 months. But maybe when there becomes a bigger library for the system, it might be down to 1 month again.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, there's not a whole lot of games for them to release up front.
Yeah, and also with the backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 5. All the PS4 games are going to be available on your PS5 as well. So,
that's true, and they're going to keep releasing PS4 games probably two at a time for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, not all your PS4 games. 99.9% of your PS4 games, in case one of the new games is one of the ones that can't be played on the PS5.
Yeah, all 8 of them.
Yeah.
That would be really funny, though, if they decided to put one of those 8 games as a PS Plus title 1 month. It's like, the fuck were you thinking?
For the next 8 months, one of those games is a PS Plus title.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
I would laugh, but also look at it and be like, I understand why you're doing that, Sony. I get it.
Yeah. So, we alluded to it already, but Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed again. It's being pushed back 21 days to December 10th. It was originally due out on November 19th. Well, not originally, but like that was the most. Sorry, I got distracted. What's that weird little clicking?
The oven doesn't always click on right away.
Okay, I thought it was on my side.
No, it's
I was
on
just
my
making
side.
sure. Okay, cool. These headphones are weird and pick up some weird...
Yeah. No, I need to get a new oven.
Yeah, that's not good. That's how your house blows up.
That's fine. I've lived with it for 6 years.
That's true. I mean, it was like that long before that. But yeah, so Cyberpunk 2077 delayed again. It was already gold, which means like the discs were being printed and shit.
Yeah.
But they still need more time, so that means there's probably going to be a big day one patch.
Yeah, I was reading up on it, and even Philip DeFranco, one of the YouTubers I watch, he also covered it on his show. He does a news show on YouTube, and they even came out and said, like, this is going to be, like, work for our day one patch, because we're all working from home, and like, we all can't get together at the same time and talk things out. Like, the game is gold, and it's being still printed, but we need more time for the day one, so they pushed it.
Yeah, which, I get that.
Yeah. Like, I hate that I'm going to use this example, because I freaking love the game, and they've made good strides on making it work, but you don't want to have an Avengers incident, like, so buggy that, like, some people find it unplayable, that...
Or Anthem.
Or Bethesda games, or, like...
Or No Man's Sky.
Well, No Man's Sky, the issue wasn't it was buggy. No Man's Sky was they didn't deliver on a lot of the promises they made for launch.
No, exactly. But, I mean, that would be a similar thing where, like, if this game came out and it wasn't what CD Projekt Red is claiming it to be, it would have a similar reaction from people. Yeah,
so, like, I as long as, like, their statement started with, like, we sincerely apologize. And of course the internet, that you have people that are pissed off at this and hating them, and people are like, it's fine. And then there's people in the middle that are just like, I'll get the game when I get the game, so whatever.
Yeah, the worst thing is, like, and I saw some of the developers posting it, like, they're getting straight death threats over this shit.
Yeah.
Like, people are threatening them and their families. It's like it's a fucking video game.
Yeah, it's why I can't stand the internet a lot of times.
Like, the people that are out there sending death threats to people are the people that actually deserve to just get beat the fuck up with a baseball bat.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, especially over a fucking video game.
Yeah, like, and it's like, I'm gonna go back to Avengers. There are people who are pissed off because, like, of the delays of Avengers, because Crystal Dynamics is working on fixing the bugs and making it more playable. And these people that are pissed off at the delays are like, I have 75,000 hours in this game, I need new content now. It's like, and they're sending, like, death threats and freaking out at them. It's like, maybe play something else. Like, the game's been out for a month and a half. You don't need to do everything right away. Like, I still have a ton of stuff I still need to do in the game. I'm just taking my time doing it.
So keep in mind too, like, some people don't, like, they can't buy more than one game, like, in any sort of short time period. Like, Avengers may have been their one game for the year, and, they would play it all the time.
True, but we just talked about PlayStation Plus. 2 games a month, every month for the past 6-7 years, however long it's been. Like, I'm sure there's plenty of games on there that you still haven't played yet.
Oh, there definitely are, but I was just more saying, like, there are people that can't afford... Then they buy their one game a year, and, like, they put all of their time into that. And if that game is broken, then, that sucks.
I will counter that with, the features they're complaining they don't have yet are the multiplayer-only features. So they need to have that service. It's the raid system. It's the raid and it's Kate Bishop. Like, Kate Bishop, you don't need multiplayer, I'm sure. But the raid, it is multiplayer only. You need, I think and assume you need 4 people to play it. So, like, these people that are freaking out, they already have PlayStation Plus. It's the people who put 1 million hours into the game and then have 17 other games to play, but are pissed off at this one game because they're allowed to be, because it's not working.
Yeah, no, I mean, in that case, you are probably right.
Yeah. But we'll hopefully we'll get Cyberpunk 2077 in 21 days,
or at least in 2020.
Yeah,
and no, it won't be in 21 days. It will be 21 days after November 19th.
Yeah. So it's 21 days. So it's like a month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
One thing that's actually a little funny about all this, but also kind of shitty, they apparently never told the social team about this ahead of time.
Oof.
So yesterday, or not, no, 2 days ago, I guess it would be at this. I'm trying to actually bring up. Yeah, so on the 26th, so 2 days ago, they tweeted. Somebody tweeted at them, "Hi, before I book the 19th off work tomorrow, can I have full confirmation the game is going to come out on that day? No take backsies." And what? I just clicked on the wrong thing. The Cyberpunk official Twitter account responded, "Full confirmation." Same day, like on the 26th.
Yeah.
And then responded again on the 27th. Well, fuck, with a frowny face. So like they knew they fucked up, but like there was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah.
And like luckily the person that like started it had they were not a douchebag about it either.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that. If you are going to delay something like that, the first people that you should be telling is your social team that actually is out there, like, talking on your social platforms about this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, that's not great.
Yeah, no, it's not. You need them there to do, like, damage control and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely do. So, Pokemon Crown Tundra DLC.
Yeah, it came out on Thursday, right? Thursday? Friday?
Well, I mean, it came out very late Thursday. It was like 9 o'clock when the patch finally went live.
It was the same thing with the Isle of Armor. It wasn't until like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, early evening that it like came out.
You know what? 5 or 6 is one thing. Like 9 o'clock at night is fucking. That's rough.
That is it's kind of messed up. But yeah,
I did not get to play it until Friday after work because my internet's been fucking garbage for weeks now. It's okay today.
Yeah.
But like I've literally had last night at like 10 o'clock. My bandwidth was 6.9 down and 0.06 up.
Ouch.
Yeah. And Comcast is just absolutely fucking.
Well, that's your first problem right there.
That's the only thing offered in my neighborhood.
Oh, you don't get FiOS? Well,
no, like I can get DSL. That's it, and that's worse. Those are worse speeds than what I was getting off of Comcast.
Call up Starlink and what are they calling it? Better than I think it's like the better than nothing internet or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
It's the like they're right now. It's not that great. They're just going into beta testing of it now. But it's supposed to have really good speeds in the near future. Or moving forward. They want to test it and make sure everyone gets it first.
Okay. I will say, as far as like Comcast Xfinity is concerned, their phone support and their live chat support are just they're fucking horrendous. Like everyone that works there is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like I forget if I talked about this or not, but when we first started having these issues, I reached out on live chat and I did all the troubleshooting that the person wanted me to, even though I knew none of those things were going to work, because I fucking did them already.
Yeah.
And then the person, when it wasn't working, just says, your account's been compromised, you have to call this phone number right away, I can't help you anymore. Wouldn't give me any other fucking information beyond that. I called the number they gave, no one's there until Monday morning.
Wow.
So then I got back on live chat, got somebody else, and they're just like, oh yeah, I don't know why anyone said that. Your account looks fine.
Yeah, some people in call centers are idiots. I've been dealing with that with work, recently. I'm not going to go into the details of, mortgage financing on this podcast, but people in call centers sometimes are idiots and just don't want to do anything.
No, I mean, that's 100% it. They don't want to do anything. Comcast already is known as the worst consumer-friendly company in the fucking world.
Yeah.
But, so, like, that all said, like, I send something to their, like, Comcast Help Twitter account. Their Twitter fucking account has been more helpful with all of this.
Yeah,
so they didn't even make me, like, go through the troubleshooting. I basically told them that I've already troubleshooted it and sent screenshots of, like, my speeds. They just immediately scheduled an appointment for me. And then they have followed up twice.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten 2 separate DMs from them to see, one was to see if, the tech got out there and if they did anything. And then I got another one to let me know that they're still waiting on the actual maintenance request for somebody to come out and check, like, the actual lines outside.
Yeah.
Whereas you call their normal number and you never hear from them and nothing gets fucking fixed.
I do all of my company complaining on Twitter because their social media teams are on top of it because they want to have a good rapport with their customers. So like anytime I have issues with T-Mobile, I tweet out about it and they reach out to me like, hey, message us and we'll figure this out and stuff like that. That's all I do.
Yeah, no, and that's basically what I did because their other support was fucking useless.
Yeah.
And like I've talked about before, like I've been lied to and cheated by Comcast so many fucking times that like I would be happy to pay extra money to Verizon to just never have Comcast again.
Yeah.
Like if I had absolutely any other option that would give me stable internet, I would change to it regardless of the fucking price.
Yeah.
Like I fucking hate Comcast that much.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Pokemon DLC.
Yeah. Crown Tundra. I thought it was fine.
I liked it.
I'm underwhelmed by it.
I mean, to me, it felt like the same amount of content I got out of Isle of Armor.
I feel like this. Like I feel like the story at least was more like it was lame in this. This is what it was. Like, oh, just go catch the legendaries. Come on now. Like I just come on.
See, I found that more appealing than go walk around with this little teddy bear until he likes you, and then grind to level 80 so you can do the challenge.
Well, I mean, I didn't really have to grind because I had all my candies. But like, yeah, like I get it. I get that, but I don't know. I feel like I wanted more out of this. I didn't just want to hunt Pokemon. And that's all this was hunting Pokemon. Like, the story for, Calyrex? The main legendary?
Yeah, the Harvest King?
Yeah, the Harvest King. Like, the story for him was fine. But, like, the Reggies and the Galarian, birds, it's just like, okay, just go catch them. I'm like, I wanted more from this. Like, I was hoping for more.
But I mean, like, and we talked about it before, like, these games are made for children. There's never much of a story. I felt like there was just as much story here as you got out of the main game and out of the Isle of Armor, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like, I enjoy this game enough to play it because I have fun playing it. But, like, my biggest complaint about Sword and Shield and its DLCs is just, it's a very lackluster story. Like, when going on, like, the villain doesn't come into play until the very end of the game. The antagonists are only antagonists because they're soccer hooligans. They're not even really antagonists. And then, like, even the post-game stuff, like, that was just annoying. I want to play a Pokemon game, I want a good story, and Sun and Moon had a good story. This one just...
See, I don't think Sun and Moon had a good story either. Like, Pokemon games don't have good narratives.
No, they don't, but, like, they're getting to a point where, like, you're gonna narratively drive these games. You need to at least make it good.
But, like, they're not narratively driven at all. Like, they never have been. They have a very loose narrative just to help you get from point A to point B. Like, the whole point of the game is just to, become the champion.
Well, yeah,
catch the Pokemon, become the champion.
Yeah, the whole point of the game is to become the league champion of each game, but at the same time, like, if you're gonna, like, they always throw some, like, slight narrative, like, in the originals, it was the Team Rocket stuff, and each of them, the teams, and I think that's my biggest problem, is, like, if they had come up with a better team for this one, they could have, like, continued that story through these DLCs. Because, like, in all of them, the teams, like, they wanted to save all the... I think Team Rocket was, like, they wanted to save all the Pokemon or something.
No, they didn't.
I can't remember what it was.
No, but Team Rocket wanted to take over the world. They were shitty. It was Team Magma and Team Aqua were the two that, like, wanted to transform the world with the Pokemon. Like,
yeah.
They wanted to use Groudon or Kyogre to do something.
Yeah, like, it's just, like, they always had some sort of story. Like, when I was younger, I didn't appreciate it, but now if I were to go back and play them, I would, like, appreciate it more. But, like, once that part's done, it's done, and then I go become the Pokemon Master, and that's fine. But if you're gonna throw out these DLCs, maybe give us, like, a more interesting antagonistic team that can continue through these things.
I feel feel like it's been long enough that for you to have like played in those old games. Like those teams were not interesting, like narrative either. Like it was very loose narrative at all that went with them. Like it was just basically like, yeah, no, they're bad guys. Like you should beat the bad guys.
Yeah, but like, and it has been a long time since I played the originals. Even Sun, I haven't played Sun and Moon since Sun and Moon. I never got Ultra Sun or Moon. I wanted to, but I never did. So like, I can't fully remember how things went, but like, I do remember at least Sun and Moon had a decent narrative with the antagonistic team, and like, it was a little bit more interesting how they did their gym battles at least.
So I think that might be more of the thing is Sun and Moon changed up things a little bit more, and then Sword and Shield took it back to a little more classic feel in a lot of senses.
Brought it back to the basics, but still.
I think you might have like not nostalgia goggles for it because obviously like Sun and Moon's not that old, but I think you're remembering things differently because those games don't really ever have a good story. Like you have to try really hard to get into the story of a Pokemon game.
Yeah, I'd have to, like I said, I'd have to replay it. I don't know. I was just kind of let down, and I was like, I want more from this. I don't just want to go hunt Pokemon. Like, I want to hunt Pokemon on my time. I don't want the story to be, you have to catch these Pokemon. And then, the developers make it next to fucking impossible to catch these Pokemon with a shitty RNG catch rate.
Yeah, no, that part is incredibly frustrating. Like the catch rates on those things are just fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, but it has to have been worse in this one than it's ever been in any of the other games.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I've talked about before, I caught Mewtwo in the original Blue with an Ultra Ball.
Yeah.
Because I caught Articuno with the Master Ball before I realized there were other legendary Pokemon in that game.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and I could have used my Master Ball at some point, but I don't know if there's ever going to be that instance where I have to use a Master Ball. Like, so I now have 2 Master Balls just sitting in my bag.
Same.
And it's like, I know I could have just used them, but there are, in this game, to get through it, you need to get 4, 7, 8, 11 legendaries, and you only have 2 Master Balls to get through this.
That seems about right.
Yeah. To get through this content, you need, you have 11 legendaries, because there's the 3 beasts from, what's her name? The 3 birds, the 4 Reggies, and then
5 Reggies.
You only need to catch 4 to complete the story.
Right.
And then the main legendary. So that's 11. But you only get 2 Master Balls, and it's fucking like you somehow caught Articuno in hail, which is friggin' ridiculous. You just have to throw a Pokeball every round.
So the way that I was doing that was I was sending out my Bolton. I was using Nuzzle, which does a little bit of damage and paralyzes.
Yeah.
And then I was just throwing Pokeballs the whole rest of the time.
Yeah. I couldn't catch it the first day when it was hailing. So then, when I actually got to Articuno, because I couldn't find it the second day. So then the third day when I finally found it and encountered it, it wasn't hailing, and I was able to take it down to pretty low health, put it to sleep, and it still took about 3 or 4 turns or rounds before I could catch it because it was asleep. Like, I could have swore like a sleeping Pokemon was supposed to be next to impossible to break out.
No. Especially not a legendary.
But when you're asleep with maybe 10 health, like, it didn't have 1 health left. I know that for a fact. But it was in the red. Asleep, and I threw an Ultra Ball. It would break out the first 3 turns. Before then, I throw it, and it shakes 3 times, and it catches.
You know, the catch rate for that stuff was absolutely horrendous. I'm not disagreeing with that. But sleep doesn't actually increase your odds that much more.
It increases
None of the
more...
status effects really increase it that much.
It increases it more than Paralyzed does.
Yeah, but I didn't have anything that did sleep.
Yeah.
And it wasn't worth spending the time trying to find something that learned sleep, because I didn't have any ability, like any TRs or TMs that taught anything either.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't worth going through with my Pokemon to see who had what, because I mentioned this to you in the chat too. Like you can't sort your boxes, so it's absolutely useless to go try and find a Pokemon.
Yeah, like I got lucky enough that I had used Shiinotic for a good portion of the game. It might have actually been part of my final team. I can't remember. But because of that, he had high defense values that, like, I was able to use him at, like, level 50 fighting these 70s and putting things to sleep without him dying in one hit.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where I was lucky with Bolton, is he's like, I mean, now he's in his 90s because he was the front guy for catching all of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in his 80s. Nuzzle is like a low damage attack, and other than Regirock, it works on all of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely got lucky with that.
Yeah, I think Regirock, when I went to fight him and found out Nuzzle wouldn't work, and I didn't have Shiinotic at the time, I threw out my Lycanroc. It was either Regirock or Regieleki. One of them, I threw out it was probably Eleki then, actually, because you can't paralyze him either because he's electric. I threw out my Lycanroc and just did, double team a gazillion times so that he always evaded, brought it down to 1 health, and just kept throwing Pokeballs.
Yeah, no, that was basically my go-to the whole time also.
Yeah, it's just, I hate the catch rate in this game. I really hope, like, the next Pokemon game, they fix it.
I mean, maybe, like, that stuff seems to sort of go back and forth in these.
Yeah.
So, like, some games it's very bad, other games it's okay.
Yeah.
What did you think about, like, the Crown Tundra, like, area?
I like it, but I hate how disjointed it is.
Yeah, I get that. Like I really I liked it. I actually liked it more than the Isle of Armor layout, because that was just like a circle, basically.
Yeah. But
I kind of like the different terrains and stuff that they had going on, but I know what you mean by, like, disjointed.
Yeah. Like, I like that, but, like, for instance, if I want to get to the tree, I either have to fly to it, or I have to ride my bike all the way down the mountain, get into some water, ride it kind of back the way I came, and then to the tree where the legendary birds are from. Like, it was too separate. Or to go to, like, one of, like, the frozen sea or whatever on the very right side of the map. You need to, like, go up and go through a patch of grass that spawns tons of fucking Pokemon. Yep. And then go up some water, and then go through a cave to get to the frozen sea. And then you have to, like, circle around to get to where Regieleki and Regidraco are.
Yeah, and not only that, but because the map is basically useless.
Yeah.
You can't rely on that for anything. You have to hope that you can find some sort of, like, point of interest that is on the map to figure out where you're actually at. Like, it's basically like you actually have to know how to use a map.
Yeah,
like you can't just open the map up and be like, "Oh, I'm here. I should just go right."
These caves are so crazy. Like, I know now how to get through them, but even having gone through them a handful of times, I still get lost from time to time.
Yeah, I only made it to the temple at the top of the mountain where you fight the Harvest King guy.
Yeah.
Like, totally by accident.
Yeah. I had a few times where, like, I was just rolling around trying to see if any new Pokemon would spawn, and I got lost. And I would, like, start up at the top of the mountain and make my way down, and, I got lost, I went the wrong way. And then turn around, and then, because I got lost and went the wrong way, I don't remember which way I came from. And when you're in a cave, you can't fly out, so then you just have to guess.
Yeah, and luckily most of those caves had a bunch of little, like, outside bits that would eventually lead you there.
Yeah.
So, like, it might not be the outside bit you were trying to get to, but you could get outside and, like, fly to the beginning of the cave usually and, like, start over.
Yeah. But, I mean, I liked it, but it's just, like, I wish they would have connected things. Like, where you go from Regieleki, there is a cave system, but it's only to get an item, and that's it. Like, it would have been nice if that led back into the cave, if it was, like, a one-way trip back into the cave.
Well, did you find the lady that gives you, or that makes the crown to evolve, Galarian Slowking?
I did find her. I still need to get enough twigs to get her to make it.
Man, Galarian Slowking is cool looking.
Is he?
Yeah, I like him. But like, she is like around a corner in a random area that you have to surf to. That I know the person that did it for the Isle of Armor for you to get the Galarian Slowbro was also sort of out of the way.
Yeah, but
this one felt extremely out of the way.
The person you needed to go to on the Isle of Armor, you just had to go to it. Like, it wasn't like super out of the way. It was like it was out of the way in the sense that it was on an island at the bottom of the island, but it wasn't out of the way that you had to like go through a fucking maze to then circle around on water that's infested with the iceberg Pokemon just to get to it.
See, the iceberg Pokemon never really got in my way.
It's more Whelmer that gets in my way, but
oh yeah, even those guys didn't really ever hinder me in that water.
Like, I'm not fully paying attention sometimes. Like, I'm looking at the TV or I'm looking at my computer screen, and because at this point it's muscle memory how to get through to some of these places that, like, I'm not really looking, and then they just pop up. I'm like, come on. And it's the same with the Giant's Foot, where it's just tons of Pokemon spawning. You either just you use a repel, maybe, or you just don't go through it, because I always encounter a Pokemon going through the Giant's Foot.
So, I mean, I see the Pokemon, but I never actually get into battles I don't want to. But I'm also not paying attention to the TV and a computer at the same time as I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm playing while working or something while I have downtime at work, so I constantly look up, make sure I didn't get an email or something.
Yeah, like if I play anything while I'm working, I have like my computer sound on, so I'm going to hear if I get like a call or like a text or anything like that.
For me, it's like I'm listening to something on my one computer with my headphones on, and I have my computer screens on over here, and I'm playing my game in my hands. So, like, I'm constantly, like, moving my eyes around.
Yeah.
At least Pokemon, not everything else. But there's also the doubles tournament.
Yeah, who did you end up partnering with?
I took, was it Marnie? No. The girl from...
Yeah, that's Marnie.
Yeah, Marnie. I took Marnie because I liked her throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I ended up with her, too. I actually flipped a coin between her and her brother.
Okay. I was like, fuck you, Hop. I went to Marnie. And then I, like, felt bad because Hop lost the first round.
Oh, no, he did that in mine, too, and I was very excited.
I wonder who the question marks were. I'm assuming it were the two gym leaders that you didn't get in your game.
That's kind of what I was assuming, also. Because if you noticed, Peony was on that list of trainers in the fight, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, Piers and Marnie were the only two trainers that didn't get on my nerves.
Yeah. I didn't mind all the gym leaders. I thought they were all cool. The dragon gym leader, kind of annoying because he's like a social media douchebag, but I still didn't mind him. But yeah, I really liked Marnie throughout the entire game. That I was like, I'm just gonna pick her because I really liked her.
Yeah, you know what it was too? Like, they were two of the characters that you actually interact with the most.
Yeah.
That don't suck.
Yeah.
'Cause, like, the end of the game, you're with Piers through all of that, the Swordbert and Shieldbert bullshit.
Yeah.
And then Marnie is just, like, throughout the game, she is one of the rivals. And, like, the other two characters that you see from the majority of the game would be Hop and Day-Day, and they both suck and can go fucking die in the corner.
I hated Day-Day. But, again, with the tournament, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more. Like, I understand they were just like, they were just introducing it so you could do it. But, like, I was kind of, like, what could have been cool is if they did, like, here's this tournament that I want to do. Go battle all the gym leader, go through and get, like, your trainer badge or something. I don't know. It just would have been cool if they, like, did a little bit more with it than just the tournament.
It was just, like, a little extra. So, the first DLC had a whole series of battles that you had to do. So this was just their way of including actual trainer battles into this part of the DLC.
Which is like, that's something they could have just done too, is had trainer battles out in the Wildlands. Like, while you're, like, maybe start throwing in, not random trainer battles, but, like, trainer battles that, like, every day you can do. So that, like, you can power up your Pokemon higher, and maybe they match your average level of your party so that they get more experience.
They have that.
Do they?
Yeah, there's characters in, like, not in the DLC wild areas, but in, like, the main game wild area that you can go battle, and I believe they respawn every day. There's like 2 of them. It's the lady in like the overalls. She's usually either standing under a tree or next to a wall, and you talk to her, and she'll ask if you want to battle. And early game, she has like, I want to say she has all 3 starters at like a relatively low level, and then end game she has the 3 starters in like the 60 to 70 range, like all the wild Pokemon.
Right.
I guess you never talked to them though.
I probably talked to her once, and then just ignored them after that, because I really didn't.
Yeah, and like, she respawns, so she's not always in the same place.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, that does exist, so.
Yeah.
The last thing in the DLC, what do you think of the Dynamax adventure?
They're interesting. It's something I'll do on spare time, not free time. Like, I have 10, 15, 20 minutes. Sure, let me do 1 or 2 of these. Like, it's not going to be something that I'll sit down to strictly play for the next 4 hours. But, like, it's an interesting way to do things where, like, if you're playing with people, you have to party up and figure out what you want to do, who's going to do what. If you're just playing solo, you just gotta hope that you get good NPCs. But, like, I don't hate them. I find them interesting.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I probably am not going to do anymore.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because I would like to catch the Ultra Beasts, but they are basically a random encounter, it seems.
Yeah. My second time going into it was an Ultra Beast, and that was only because it was after I had finished everything else.
Yeah. But they also, like, none of the legendaries in there, including the Ultra Beasts, show up in your Pokedex.
Yeah.
So, literally, I have no reason to do it, and that was the section I had the least amount of fun in, because, like, the raids are not fun to try and find strangers to do them with. Like, half the time it just doesn't even fucking work. But, on top of that, like, the NPCs are garbage. Like, we were talking in the chat, I've done 5 or 6 of them. I've only actually finished 1. Like, I've only actually beaten the legendary in 1 of them.
Yeah.
Because the KOs stack, so if an NPC gets KO'd in an earlier battle, it holds through until the end.
Yeah.
So, like, every time I play, I get unlucky with the NPCs where they pick the worst fucking Pokemon out of the lineup. Even if I take the worst Pokemon, they pick the next worst one.
Yeah.
And then they don't use any offensive attacks. All they do are, like, passive things.
Yeah, I had an NPC the second time I ran it who took a sunkfish. It's like the flounder looking.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it would use electric terrain at the beginning of every battle, which I don't even know what electric terrain does.
Yeah,
I started that with a fucking Kingler, and then it would use electric terrain. I'm like, alright, if this boosts electric moves, you're fucking killing me, dude.
Yeah, and like every round it's like that for me. And by the time I get to the legendary, all of the NPCs are half dead, and I have maybe 1 KO.
Yeah, I mean, I like the map idea, how, like, you pick your path and you go, and depending on the path you take, like, I always end up taking a path where there's at least a scientist who will let me swap out my Pokemon, or, like, at one point, I picked a scientist who gave us all items to boost our Pokemon, and then I found berries that healed all our Pokemon.
Yeah, I try to get onto those paths, but it also depends on, like, what Pokemon I have to go up against.
Yeah.
Because, like, if the whole team has something that's weak against fire, I'm not going to go fight a fire Pokemon and just fucking die right away.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
But yeah, if you could solo those instead, and they just scaled for, like, a solo adventure, I'd do them all the time.
Yeah, but, or if I could bring my own Pokemon, I'd do
even then, like, if I could bring a Pokemon that I actually wanted to use, and not whatever shitty one they actually offer, that might change it too. But, like, I even tried not taking, like, I was catching the Pokemon, but not changing them. Mm-hmm. So, like, I was just sticking with whatever the starter was.
Yeah. Because
the NPCs will swap instead.
Yeah.
And even doing that, they would use, like, the one move that doesn't do any damage.
Yeah. My second time I went through it, all the Pokemon I ran into, I had already previously caught, so I didn't bother catching them, but then the NPCs would take them and swap out with them. So, sometimes it's part of the RNG hell of Pokemon, or of this version of Pokemon. Like, sometimes you're gonna get good, sometimes you're gonna get bad. It's the frustrating part of, like, Pokemon in general is very RNG hellish, but Sword and Shield overall sucks.
Yeah, it is very bad for that. And those Dynamax things aren't, like, Dynamax battles in general, I don't think are fun.
No, they take too long.
They do. They take too long. There's not really a whole lot of strategy to it. It's basically just hit them with whatever attack does the most damage.
Yeah.
Like status effects and stuff like that don't really help you all that much.
No.
So it's this thing that takes too long. All the animations take too long. Like I actually went in and turned off all the animations when I was doing them because it makes it go quicker.
Yeah.
And yeah, like having to do it with NPCs, like the NPCs are fucking useless. I'd rather be in there alone, so at least this way I could control things a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let you pick out a team of 4 yourself, and then you make all the choices. Like,
Yeah,
make it a legit RPG in that aspect, where it's like you're controlling everything.
Yeah, cause like I had multiple fights where the NPC would pick a Pokemon that had Substitute, which Substitute takes like a quarter health away when you use it, and then puts like a Substitute out there to take an attack for you.
Yeah.
It would use Substitute multiple times until it basically had no life left, and then it would get hit and die.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, so you've done actually nothing. You actually made this harder.
Yes.
And because you have no control over the NPCs, like, you can't stop them from getting attacked. And the Dynamax Pokemon that you're fighting, you can't take out on your own. Like, you need the other attacks to, like, get them done in the time limit you're given.
Yeah, I'm happy that they at least don't all get their shields. Whereas, like, when you do, like, actual, like...
Well, the 5 stars in the regular game, they get those shitty shields.
It's all of the stars in the regular game. They get those shields. Like, even 1, 2, and 3 stars, it's just, it's weaker and takes less time to kill it.
I don't remember getting shields in the weaker stars. I know the purple spirally ones always have, like, extra shields.
Yeah, and that's, like, I think most of the time, because I did one of the like, max raid battles, and it gets the shields, but it's like, if you use a move that it's weak to against the shield, it takes 2 spots away, but, like, if it's, like, one of the major raids, they get, like, 6 shields, and you only have 10 turns to kill it, and it takes 3 of your max turns to kill a full shield, unless, like, it's just...
Unless you're in there with 3 other actual people that all came in prepared.
Well, no, because, like, well, yes, but also no, because if you're Dynamaxed, it takes away 2 if you use a weakness ability. If you're not Dynamaxed, it only takes away 1, no matter whether or not you use a weakness ability or not. So, like, and they'll get them 3 times. They'll get it, like, the big purple swirly ones, they'll get it right at the beginning of the game with 6 shields, and then they'll get it halfway through, and they'll get it at, like, a third of life left, all with 6 shields. So that's 3 fucking times that you have to use that you all have to hope to use your abilities to take down these 6 shields, plus kill them in 10 rounds. It's annoying.
Yeah, so the one good thing is if you get lucky and you have actual people you're playing with that came in with Pokemon that are, like, typed against it, like, you can do it. But when you have the NPC, it's not happening.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I enjoyed the Crown Tundra stuff. I liked finding the legendaries and catching them. I liked the map and everything like that. Like, I wasn't expecting a story from it, and Hop was in it, which made it that much better.
Yeah.
And honestly, I thought Peony was funny.
I didn't really like him. I was a jerk to him anytime I talked to him.
Well, like, I more like the fact that Calyrex, or however you say his name, just kept, like, taking him over to talk to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so moving away from Pokemon, but sticking with Nintendo, there was a mini partner direct today that I did not realize was happening.
Neither did I. It, like, kind of came out of nowhere.
So I only put a couple of things on here from there. A lot of the stuff wasn't anything new, and, like, I don't think we particularly have anything crazy to say about it. But they did release a Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity demo.
Yeah, which I think is available today.
Yeah, you can download it on your Switch now.
And you can, it is like a full demo of the beginning of the game, so any save that you do will carry over to the full version of the game.
Oh, I missed that. So that's cool. I honestly, like, I watched the first, like, half of the Direct and then sort of spaced out when this came up because I just, like, I saw that, I'm like, I'm not interested in this, and sort of dazed over.
I liked the first Hyrule Warriors. That I'm super interested in this one. Plus, at some point or another throughout the story, you get to drive the Mega Beasts or whatever they're called.
Which, I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of the Musou games, so it's just not. But then these next two actually intrigue me. Control Ultimate Edition is now available on Switch via the cloud version, and Hitman 3 is going to be coming to the Switch via a cloud version.
So it's you don't download that onto your system. You play it through the cloud, right? Is that what that is?
Yeah, like a Game Pass or a Stadia.
That's like I didn't really catch that initially, and even when you mentioned it before I watched it, I didn't really like get it. That's cool. That's kind of neat.
Yeah, it really is, and I don't know how well it's going to work, especially if you have it in handheld.
Yeah.
But like see, the problem is they're probably still $60 games, and I don't know that I would want to spend $60 for like Control on the Switch online only, and like just hope that it plays well.
Yeah, that's an issue.
But I think it's cool that they're trying it. And like I hope it works well, and I hope people like it and it's fun and it gets more things in this zone, because frankly, like, the Switch is not powerful. You're not going to have cross-platform games anymore.
No.
Like, not that there were many to begin with, but now that the PS5 and Xbox Series X are basically available, there aren't going to be games on the Switch that you also get on other consoles, other than, like, the indies and, like, the throwback games that are, like, styled to be, like, an older game.
Hold on. I just went to Nintendo's website and looked up Control. It says free download.
Really?
Yeah. It says free download on the website. I'm trying to read through to see. I mean, if this is legit free, I'm going to have a new game to talk about next week. It says $0. Like.
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
We'll get back to you about it. Hold on, let me grab my Switch. It's right next to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's saying free for me also.
Let me turn that down. And over the course of recording, I am going to download it and see what happens. And by the end of recording, we might have an answer.
So I can give you an answer because it's on the purchase page. Hang on a second. I feel like I have to sneeze. Maybe not. There we go. So on the product information page, you can only download a free launcher application to test the game for a limited amount of time. This game uses cloud streaming technology, and you require a persistent high-speed internet connection to play the game. If your internet connection becomes unstable, the service will disconnect after a few minutes. Please use the free launcher application to test the availability and quality of service for your region. A Nintendo account is required to access the cloud service. To access the game after the free trial, this free launcher application and the purchasable Access Pass are required. Pricing can be found on the Nintendo eShop page for the Access Pass once the 5-minute trial has been successfully completed.
Oh, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. I might try it out.
Just to see what the sort of...
See what the price is, for the most part, and see how it actually controls.
The price is almost definitely going to be $60, but I'm curious to know, like, if it looks like it's going to play well.
Yeah, I will... I mean, we can both try it out, since it's free for 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. 5
minutes isn't much time, but that's interesting.
That's at least enough to see if the technology seems to be viable.
Yeah.
Let's see, what is next? Oh, and the last game that I put on here was the one that you mentioned. It was Surviving the Aftermath.
Yeah, it looks like one of those, like, kind of idle zombie games.
It looked a little bit to me like State of Decay.
I've never played State of Decay. I'd have to look into it.
So it's like it's a zombie survival world game, but it's more of like a simulator, like you're building like a community sort of thing.
Yeah.
So like resource gathering and stuff like that.
Yeah. Which like that's kind of just exactly directly up my alley. So I was like, that's interesting. I'll keep an eye on that, at least. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. In the last bit of Nintendo news, Super Mario 3D All-Stars is getting a patch. Starting on the 17th of November, they're going to add the ability to invert your controls in the options.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a big deal to us, because I don't think either of us play inverted. But that was a big deal for a lot of people who, these games when they came out were inverted.
Were they?
As Mario Sunshine was.
I don't remember.
And a lot of people play inverted, and it's a big deal for them when games don't let you change the controls, because they basically become unplayable for them. Just like if we inverted our controls, the game would be unplayable for us.
I mean, I can manage inverted, but like it definitely doesn't feel right.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe people should just play games the right way and not be inverted.
So I think inverting the y-axis is fine, because like depending on the game, like a first-person game, it does kind of make sense.
Yeah.
Like tilting your stick forward to look down is kind of like logically how your head would work. If you had a stick that controlled where your head turned on the back of your head, like pushing, like you'd push that thing forward to look down.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me is people that invert the x-axis.
That's just no.
Which again, like I get it. If you're controlling a head in first person, theoretically that's how it would go. But no, that's not okay.
I just I don't like invert. I don't like inverted in general. It's just. But I mean,
I like it for certain things. I think like flying makes sense inverted.
Flying is the only type of game that I will have, and it's generally defaulted to inverted in flying game. Because it is ingrained in my head that when you're flying, pushing up makes it go down, because you're pushing the nose down, you're pulling the nose up. It has been ingrained in my head. I've played flying games since I was a kid, so like that's the only time I do inverted y-axis.
Yeah, I know we've talked before, but like I used to invert controls in Halo. Like that was how I played Halo, and then at some point I just couldn't do it anymore.
Didn't you? Weren't you like the monster who mostly did that to screw up the next person? But you played like boxing style inverted or something like that.
I played inverted boxer, and I used to try and play southpaw, which swapped the sticks to fuck with people. So like the left stick would be your look, and the right stick would be your movement.
Yeah, because you're a monster.
Yeah, that one I did just because I thought it was funny. But no, like I legitimately played Halo inverted boxer, because boxer controls are better. In Halo at least. Because Halo doesn't have look-down sights.
Yeah.
So you basically, your right trigger is your fire, your left trigger is your melee.
Yeah.
So that you can just run up to people shooting them, and then when you get close, melee them and to finish them off.
Yeah.
Especially with the shotgun, because you get in close, you shoot them in the face, and then you melee them, and it's kind of like a one-hit kill.
Yeah, because the shotgun would take down their shields right away, and punching them usually killed them, I guess? I don't really remember.
If you did it right in multiplayer, they were dead after that one round.
Yeah.
But so the reason I really put this on the news is it could potentially be good for everyone, because if they're willing to patch the game for something like that, who knows what else they might work into the game or like update in the game.
Yeah, but like what else is there needed for this? Like,
I mean, updated like resolution settings, like just quality of life stuff that they didn't do to these games because they're just straight ports of the ROMs.
Yeah, true. Maybe eventually they update it with not ports of the ROMs and ports of the actual game.
No, that's actually never going to happen.
I know.
Because that would require them to replace the physical copies of the game too.
I know.
But still, like including options and stuff like that, and letting people actually, have fun with the game would be cool. Not that they're not fun, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
letting people play the games the way that they want to.
People play games differently, which is generally wrong. And they're allowed to beg for them to let them play games wrong.
I mean, you also generally play games wrong.
No.
So.
No. My way is right. If you play Mass Effect and you're anybody but Base Shepard, you're playing it wrong.
I don't even know what that means.
Meaning, if you play Mass Effect and you change your character's look and don't take him as a soldier, you're playing it wrong.
Well, the only correct Shepard is Fem Shepard.
Sure, you can take Fem Shepard or Mal Shepard, either one. Just don't change what they look like, and they're only a soldier. Don't take any other version.
You're the worst.
No,
no wonder you like Monster Hunter.
Look, it's not Mass Effect if you're playing as a different class as your main character.
Look, just fucking talk about Division 2.
Yeah, I started playing Division 2, a game that I bought in February before the virus got bad. And
didn't it also go free to play, or PS Plus or something like that?
No, it was really cheap when I bought it. It was $2.99. And that's the only reason why I bought it, is because it was $2.99. There's an expansion that came out this past year, I guess, and they wanted people to gear up for that, so they were selling it for $2.99, and maybe the expansion might be free. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it. A buddy of mine recently started playing it, and is getting a bunch of us into it.
Okay.
But yeah, it is a really good cover shooter, but the shooting is very stiff. Like, the controls for, like, aiming down sights and shooting, and, like, moving the, like aiming in general, it just feels too stiff. And I wish it would be, like, a little more fluid, but besides that, it's a really good, cover shooter. I like the mechanics that they have for changing cover, where, like, you can, like, place your camera in a spot and it'll show where, like, you're gonna move to next, and you hold X and they'll run up to that themselves. Which is, like, it's neat because they stayed, like, crouched down and they stay under cover while they're trying to get to the next part of cover. This one's in DC, and I think you played the original, right?
I played the original, and I did play some of this one. I apparently own it. I must have bought it when it was that, like, $2 sale as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was $2 back in February. I think I told a lot of people, and a lot of people just bought it because it was $2 and just haven't played it.
I played the beta, though,
yeah.
Which was, like, the opening area, like the opening of DC, like, when you, like, storm the White House and you do, like, a mission or two after that.
Yeah, yeah. That's like the whole beginning area, and so far it's interesting. It doesn't seem to be like there's very much of a story. It's just, they needed your help in DC, so you went to DC and helped them.
Yeah, I think the setting of that game with, like, the dollar plague and all that stuff was super cool.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at it, though. Like, that is a game that you can play by yourself, and if you're good at it, it's not hard.
Yeah.
But I am particularly bad at it, so I can't play it alone, and I don't play with people, so...
Yeah, I mostly have played by myself, because anytime I try to get together with my friends to play it, they say yes, they'll be right on, and then they never show up.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but it's a fun game by yourself. I'm sure it'd be a lot more fun with other people, at least in my opinion, but I still enjoy playing it enough by myself. It still has that whole, like, Ubisoft formula. There's no towers to climb, surprisingly, but it's you go to an area, you unlock the area, you do all the side quests in the area, and then you go to the next area. But, like, it's really, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but, like, the way they do it in this, as opposed to other Ubisoft games like Assassin's Creed and such, feels like it works a lot better in this. But at the same time, like, I'm not a big fan of how, like, certain regions of the map are based on level. I feel like the whole game should scale to your level. You should be able to just... Because you're running around with fucking guns. Like, you're running around with guns. Yes, they can, like, they can have the number of increased power, and, like, you could have this complaint with the games like Destiny as well, but, my answer to that is those are space guns, these are real-life guns. But, like, there is no damage number for guns. A gun shoots you in the head, it shoots you in the head. It's not like, this gun only has 10 points of damage power, and you're level 35, so you're getting shot in the head and not taking damage. So I feel like the whole world shouldn't have a level cap, and it should scale to you. Which generally it does, but there are regions that if you go into, and you're too low of a level, they will be too high of a level, and your weapons won't do anything. But, like, overall, I enjoy what I've done so far. I've cleared the first 2 regions. I'm getting ready to go into the 3rd region. I really want to just storm the Capitol building. I can't wait to freaking do that. I don't know why. But it's probably one of the last missions you do. And I'm just, like, so excited to do that. I don't know why.
Did you get any of the DLC or anything, or you just have the base game?
Whatever the $2.99 version was back then is what I have.
Which is just the base game.
Yeah, so, I mean, the DLC probably isn't too much right now, and if we get into it that far, I might get it. But for now, I don't think we have the DLC that, like, I'm fine with the base game. But the DLC brings you to New York. And, like, I think that's...
Oh, does it?
Yeah, and which is kind of silly that they only use a portion of DC. That, like, it's kind of silly that they bring you into New York and not, like, expand further on DC.
I feel like there's 2 DLCs, and one of them is in the DC area still.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, no, there are 3 different episodes to it. So
okay.
It's DC Outskirts, the Pentagon, and then the last one is
New York.
Coney Island. And then there's a whole separate thing that's Warlords of New York expansion.
Yeah, and I think that's Warlords of New York is what they were like trying to get more people to come in to do, which is why it was so cheap when I back when I bought it.
Yeah, because that other DLC, the 3 episodes, were like the ones that were released like shortly after launch, like they came out like once every few months after the game launched.
Yeah. I'm pulling up my store to see if it tells me which ones I own.
No, I have the same thing. It's just the standard.
Okay.
But anything else you really want to say about Division?
No, I mean it's a fun game. Like it's been out for however long.
A year and a half. I just noticed.
Yeah. It's really only a year and a half?
The Division 2 came out March of 2019.
Oh wow! I thought it came out a lot sooner than that, or a lot earlier than that.
Yeah, I honestly thought it did too until I saw that it was March of 2019. I'm like, oh shit! For some reason I thought that was like a 2018 game, but I think the first one was like 2017.
Yeah. But it is good. It's the like the sound effects for the guns sound real, which is like kind of important in a game like this. It feels good like playing it and shooting. It's just I wish the aiming was actually a little bit more fluid and less stiff. But yesterday as I was playing it, I was just like sitting there. I'm like, if you want a game where you feel like John Wick, frickin' play Division 2 because
or you can go play John Wick Hex, where you actually play as John Wick.
There's a John Wick game?
Yeah, John Wick Hex.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it came out earlier this year.
I wonder how it is.
It got very good reviews.
I might have to get that at some point. But like, there are instances where I'm doing some of these missions where I'm just like, I feel like I'm John Wick. I'm just doing these really ridiculously cool things, and it's like you're one versus an army because some of these things are like you're supposed to be playing with people, but you're not supposed to just be one person killing this, like raiding this tower. You're supposed to be like 4 raiding this tower. But I'm playing by myself, and I'm one versus an army, and I'm just like, how am I doing this? This is so ridiculous. I'm John Wick. I'm just killing all these people. I do wish there was like a melee mechanic more than what they have.
Oh, right, yeah, because that game isn't like, it's very much a cover shooter. Like, you are supposed to fight at a distance.
Yeah, it is totally a cover shooter. And there are times where like, I'll run up to an enemy, and like, if you can walk up to an enemy who's not noticing you, and there's no like stealth kill or quick kill or anything like that. And at the point I'm at, there's no silenced weapons, so I can't like stealth kill some things. I just have to cause a firefight. So it's kind of like a little frustrating because I'm used to being that person who plays the stealthy character, runs up and does as many stealth kills as they can before they start like the big firefight.
I thought you said that you're not really good at stealth.
It depends on the game. But I usually, whenever I get the option of like playing a character as either stealth or not stealth, I tend to go to stealth until I fuck up. And I generally do fuck up relatively quickly.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's me too. Like, I try, and then I get a little impatient. I make like that bad move and fuck it up, and I'm just like, alright, well, time to run and gun.
Yeah, like, Last of Us 2, I would stealth pretty decently, but then there would be a point, because I don't remember if you could move the bodies. I don't think you could. Once you killed someone, they would be left on the ground, or maybe you could move the bodies, but I wouldn't move it properly, and they're like, a little extra pixel would be out of, like, hiding, and then they'd see me and be like, alright, well, time to just shoot things now, and be a murderer.
The Last of Us is actually exactly the same for me. Like, every time it's like, alright, well, I'm against, like, the zombies, I was usually pretty good. But, like, against the people, it was like, I tried, and then I'd get impatient, and I'd shoot somebody thinking that, like, I had, like, a clean shot, and then somebody would have been, like, off in the distance and saw it, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go then.
Yeah, but,
I'm gonna shoot as many other people as I can, and then dive into the grass.
Division 2 right now is $30. If you're interested. I think that, I don't know, it doesn't say anything about, like, the standard edition. I don't know how much the extra other stories are. So the standard edition is $30. I don't know if that includes the 3 stories in it.
It doesn't.
It doesn't? Because other than that, the only other things I see are Warlords of New York edition, and then the franchise bundle.
Let's see. The 2. Come on, PlayStation Store. Pass is not available for purchase. Oh, no, that's just cosmetics. That would probably be why. Huh. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how much it is. Because unless they started just bundling it into the game, but like it's listed as DLC, so
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
According to, I just googled, are Division 2 episodes free? And according to WindowsCentrals.com, best answer, yes. Ubisoft has stated that content released during Division 2's first year, including 3 major DLC episodes, will be free for everyone. Warlords of New York, however, is not free. A separate expansion you'll need to purchase. So I got...
Oh, that's cool.
Everything pre-Warlords for $3, and so did you.
Yeah, that's really not bad then.
No, not at all. And if I continue playing this, or maybe I'll probably will continue playing this, maybe I'll just... Because I got the game for $3, I might just get the expansion for Warlord.
Yeah. I mean, that looked like it was a bit more expensive.
I think it's like $40.
Warlords of New York. Oh, no, this is like the Division...
$29.99.
New York edition.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $29.99?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, of course, like on their page on the PlayStation Store, they don't have it by itself. It's just $60 for the version that comes with the base game and the expansion.
And that's what it was. At the time that this game was $3, they wanted a lot of people to play this game so that when Warlords came out, people could just move right into Warlords. You can even just start the game at level 40 and go right into Warlords if you wanted to.
Oh, right, because they did do like the level jump thing if you wanted to.
But I don't play like that.
Sure you do.
Anyway, we got some news about Xbox?
Yeah, a little bit of Xbox related stuff. The first one is they confirmed that any game that is playable on the Xbox One, whether it's an Xbox One game, an Xbox 360, or original Xbox through backwards compatibility, will all be playable on the Series X/S.
Okay.
The only exclusion are games that required the Kinect.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. They don't support it. And that you can't use
you actually can't hook the Kinect up to the new Xbox. So
that's cool at least. Like any game that you own for Xbox is backwards compatible. Like that is the one good thing that Microsoft has always done. Is like although it was like ROM like port type things where you would put the disc in it and pull the port or whatever. Like Xbox and Microsoft has always given you the ability to be backwards compatible on all their systems.
False. When the Xbox One launched, there was no backwards compatibility whatsoever.
But it is backwards compatible now.
It is,
like, for the most part.
I'm just saying that your actual statement very false. They were very much when it launched. They did not. Their exact like thing was like, if you want to play these games, go get an Xbox 360.
Yeah, but my statement. And I guess the word's pedantic. My statement never said at launch.
You said always.
And my meaning was the fact that like 360, I don't think was backwards compatible right away.
No, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. The only one that wasn't was the Xbox. Or the Xbox One, I should say.
I thought the 360, only certain games were backwards compatible, and they eventually had to roll it out. Similar to when the Xbox One was released. Certain games were backwards compatible, or no games were backwards compatible, and they slowly rolled it out for all the games.
No, I think you're getting it confused with the PS3, where they literally went backwards. Where, like, the original PS3 was backwards compatible with everything, and then as they released new models of it, it became less and less backwards compatible.
Yeah, I do know that. I do remember that.
No, the Xbox 360 you could always drop Xbox original games into. It was the Xbox One where it wasn't backwards compatible for like its first 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Then they introduced the emulation where it was literally running an emulated Xbox 360.
Yeah.
In the console to play the games.
But like they always found a way to do it. Like I know they didn't want to initially, but they always found a way. Whereas PlayStation, PlayStation 3 had backwards compatibility, and then they took it away, and then PlayStation 4 didn't, and never did.
PS5 is only backwards compatible with PS4.
Yeah, so like that is the one up that Microsoft has and Xbox has on the PlayStation, in my opinion. But I don't have any Xbox or Xbox original games, and I have like 3 Xbox One games, so it doesn't really matter to me.
But you know what? Like those games are still available for sale on like the digital storefronts.
Yeah.
And like they're not expensive, so like if you wanted to go play like the original Mass Effect trilogy, you can go buy those games digitally and play them on an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
you can't do that on the PS4 or 5.
No.
Like, because they did release the full trilogy on PS3, I think, right?
I think they released like a remastered version of the trilogy on the PS4 as well.
No, there's never been a remaster.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said I know the first Mass Effect didn't originally come to PS3. But I believe like it was later released on there.
Yeah, it was. I do know that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. All of them were available on PS3 and Xbox 360, but the only one that was on PS4 and Xbox One natively was Andromeda that everyone hated.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can actually go play those Xbox versions of those games on your current console. You can't do that for PlayStation, and that sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if a game is currently backwards compatible, it will play on the new Xbox natively, which is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully, once the new console is out and they've sort of got all that going, they'll continue adding to that catalog, because that is a very large catalog as is. But like, there still are games that are not backwards compatible that you'll occasionally hear people be like, "Oh, I wish this game was playable."
Yeah, and like there's games I look at my shelf. There's actually, I think it's Sly Cooper 4. I never played. It's still in its plastic. I never got around to playing, but it's a PS3 game, so I'm like, I can't play it.
Yeah, you need to get out your PS3 if you even still have it.
I do have it. I think it's packed up at my parents' house right now, though, still.
Man, you've been in that house for like a decade.
Well, no, it was when I was trying to move, I packed up a bunch of my games and stuff and brought it to my parents' house. And then I never took it back.
Like when you were trying to sell the house last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Why don't you sell the house to Kwame and Jensen?
That's all I'm going to say about it. Next, we've got reports from Bloomberg that Halo Infinite project director Chris Lee.
Yeah, no, that definitely was a bad typo. I apologize.
Has left the project.
Yeah, so he was the project director, which means like he oversaw Halo Infinite. He's no longer working on Halo Infinite, and this is the second top-level director that they have lost in 2 years on that game.
So he left the project, he's working on something else, or did he leave?
He's not working on anything right now. Microsoft did clarify that he is still employed by Microsoft, but he is not currently working on any project.
Do you think he left because of the delay, or do you think he left, do you think the delay because he was leaving?
Oh, I don't think the delay had anything to do with him leaving. I think him leaving is a consequence of both the delay and the fan kind of backlash to what they showed of that game.
Okay.
Because it's pretty much across the board, people did not like what they saw.
No, I know I didn't. I was
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I didn't like what I saw. I thought it was kind of crappy.
But his position has also kind of been sidelined anyway for the last several months. They brought in Joe Staten and Pierre Hintz to head single player and multiplayer respectively, which basically made Lee redundant.
Yeah.
But like all this is coming just a few months after the most recent delay of the game, where it went from being a launch title to coming out sometime next year.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So this, I have a feeling, like I was just saying, like this probably has a lot to do with just the backlash the game got and people's disappointment with what appears to be like a games as a service model that they were trying to embrace. Because like, honestly, that's not why people play Halo.
No.
Like, they don't want a live game. They want their multiplayer. They want to play like deathmatch, capture the flag, like all that stuff. Or Slayer, if it's still called Slayer in Halo. And they want Master Chief in a campaign. Like, that's Halo.
Yeah.
Just because the guys that made the original Halos made a live service game that has a decent fan base doesn't mean that anyone wants Halo to be that.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what comes of this game. We'll see how much changes over the next several months as they try to finish it.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't become like a Destiny 1 situation where like they scrap everything and then rush to get things out and release an incomplete game.
Yeah, I hope not, because that would not bode well for the future of Halo.
No, not at all.
Because like, not that they've sold poorly, but 4 and 5 were not exactly fan favorites. Like 343 they have not done a bad job with it, but I don't think they were trying to make it their own, and that's unfortunately not what the fan base wanted. They wanted more of what Bungie had been doing.
Yeah.
So like 343 did the whole thing where like they kind of took Master Chief away from the games not realizing that, like, people wanted to play as Master Chief. Like, they didn't want to play as Nathan Fillion.
No.
As much as Nathan Fillion's a cool guy, like, he's not a Spartan. They don't want to be running around space shooting people as him.
I don't know. I want to be Nathan Fillion shooting people in space.
No, I don't.
Speaking of Nathan Fillion, I don't know why this reminded me of this, but, and it's gonna be a major stretch. You're gonna laugh. See the pictures of the pictures of Tom Holland as, Nathan Drake?
Yeah, I left all that out of here because it just didn't seem all that important. But the reason it reminded it of you is because, there was that fan trailer thing that Nathan Fillion was Nathan Drake for, like, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg also released a shot of him with a mustache, because he's Sully. Because that game has been in development for so fucking long that Mark Wahlberg went from playing Drake to now playing Sully.
And it looks like they're going with a younger version of the two, because, like...
Yeah, no, that's what they had been talking about.
I'm hoping it's going to be good, but I'm just cautiously pessimistic about or cautiously optimistic about this.
So I don't remember who tweeted it, but somebody tweeted this out. They looked at they had seen somebody else say it. The image of Tom Holland looks like a fucking watch ad. Like, because that watch is just so shiny and new, and he's kind of like dingy and dirty looking, and it looks like a picture from like a magazine advertising a watch.
Yeah.
And once you hear that, you can't not see it.
Yeah, I'll have to look back at it again.
Anyway, I watched a couple movies this past week because my internet's been kind of rough, so most of them were Blu-rays, except for the first one I'm going to talk about. So I watched Borat Subsequent Moviefilm.
I hear I don't know. That's what I hear.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So the setup for it is he has been a prisoner for the last 15 years because he embarrassed his country. The government lets him out of, like, prison because they need somebody to go to America to bribe Mike Pence so that the country can get on the good side of Trump and become prosperous.
Okay.
So the initial plan is he is supposed to take this famous monkey from their country who is both, like, some sort of government official and their top-rated pornography director.
Jeez.
And it, like, literally, like a chimp. Like a legit monkey. But then his daughter tags along instead of the monkey. His daughter that, like, he's never met because she's only supposed to be 15.
Yeah.
And because the monkey's not there and the daughter is, they decide to try and sell the daughter to Pence. Or not sell the daughter, but gift the daughter to Pence as, like, a slave girl.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, it's... A lot of it is as awful as it sounds.
Yeah.
But it's so satirical and stuff like that, like, you know none of it's real and it's a joke, but the people that he's talking to they don't get it a lot of times.
Yeah. And that's like more of what I've heard, that, like, the Americans in this are just flat out, like, it's embarrassing, basically.
Oh yeah. Well, so I remember, so there was something over the summer where it was on the news that Sacha Baron Cohen showed up to, like, some sort of, like, Trump rally, got up on stage and got people to sing along to racist lyrics.
Yeah, I remember that.
Did not know at the time that it was a Borat skit, but that's in the movie. And, like, at one point he has people cheering for gassing people like the German.
Yeah.
I will tell you though, the funniest bit. So the actress that plays his daughter steals the fucking show almost the entire.
This is her breakout role.
Yeah. So apparently they found when they got her, like, when she landed the role, she was, like, fresh out of film school.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, they auditioned over 500 actresses for the role. But there is a scene where the prime minister of their country asked for a chocolate cake. So Borat goes to a bakery and orders a chocolate cake. And while they're there, the daughter starts begging for a cake also. And Borat's, like, telling her, like, no, women can't have cake. Like, just, you know, like the worst shit.
Yeah.
But he finally, like, concedes and lets her pick one, and she picks a cupcake that has, like, a little baby on top. Like, it's supposed to be, like, for, like, a bridal shower or something, like, or baby shower.
Yeah.
And so they set this up so hard. She goes to eat it. He takes it from her and says, no, not here. We have to go where no one can see you. and he takes her behind a dumpster and like is like feeding her the cupcake, and she swallows the plastic baby. So they go to a doctor because she swallowed a plastic baby. But they go to a women's clinic, like an abortion clinic.
Oh my god.
But down south, where they don't do that, where like literally it's a pastor in the room talking to them.
Yeah.
And they're speaking in their like, broken English sort of dialect that they use, asking him to help get the baby out of her. And like saying, and like, I don't remember word for word, but it's basically like, no, there's a baby in me. I need to get the baby out of me. Can you take the baby out of me? Like my daddy put it in me. I don't want it in me. Like shit like that. And like the pastor at one point is just like, wait, you keep calling her your daughter. And he looks at the girl and goes, is that your father? And she goes, yes. And he put this baby in me.
Oh no.
Yeah, like it was so fucking funny though, because this guy is just sitting there and like even them saying that, he is still telling them that like it's not okay to end the pregnancy.
Yeah.
But like
wow.
Yeah, he ends up doing like a bit with some QAnon people.
Yeah.
At one point he takes his daughter to a babysitter. He goes to so Borat is incredibly racist towards, even though but the actor is Jewish.
Yeah.
And apparently the language that they speak in the movie is primarily Hebrew, not whatever country he's supposed to be from.
Kazakhstan. Thank
you. There we go. So yeah, like he's speaking Hebrew while he's also being racist towards Jewish people.
Yeah.
But he goes to a synagogue at one point, and like talks to like two old women, one of them being a Holocaust survivor, and tries to explain to them that he just found out that the Holocaust wasn't real and how it ruined his life.
Oh my god.
And apparently from what I've seen online, that is the only time that he has ever had somebody go back and explain to them that it was a skit for a movie.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise he does not tell, like, everyone else, like, they get told it's a documentary or something like that. They do not get told that, even after the fact, they're not looped into the fact that it's, like, a comedy and satire.
Yeah. I think I vaguely remember, like, hearing that news story, like, his people apologized to these group of people because of the joke and stuff. I can't fully remember.
It's not so much even they apologize, like, he actually apparently had, like, the producer or something like that go back and tell her, because, like, he is very big in, like, that, like remembrance and, like,
yeah,
all that, and I can't think of the word for it right now, but, like, in, like, rights and everything, so
yeah,
he didn't want to actually leave that lady with, like, a bad taste, because, like, she went through the Holocaust. Like,
yeah. One thing I find funny is Kazakhstan is taking with the first Borat movie, they hated it. I think they banned it, like, you weren't allowed to watch it. But this one, they're, like, kind of leaning into it, and they released tourism posters, and it's Kazakhstan. Very nice, and things like that.
I have seen that.
Sacha Baron Cohen has even come out and said, like, just so you know, the Kazakhstan that we portray is fake. The real Kazakhstan's beautiful, and you should go visit it. We're just trying to make up... We wanted to use a real country, but a country no one knew about. So we used Kazakhstan.
Yeah. But, like, Rudy Giuliani is in it at one point, and his bit is both funny and not good for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that, like, you can tell by the looks on people's faces that they really don't know what's going on. I did see a report that the babysitter that he takes his daughter to at one point, it was like an older black woman, she's a grandmother. She agreed to appear in the movie, believing it was a documentary. I don't know what sort of documentary she thought it was, but like she was paid and all for the role. And she didn't find out until the movie came out that it was all like a big joke, and she felt kind of like betrayed by that.
Yeah. Because
like she legitimately thought like this girl was from this culture where she really believed she couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And apparently like that actress she went full force into it. Like she was trying to eat like a goldfish out of a tank or something like that. Like she just yeah, she did not shy away from anything.
Yeah.
Apparently, like, Sacha Baron Cohen is petitioning for her to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Actress. Which would never happen, but, like, honestly, like, the girl did that good of a job. Like, even if that movie is not what anyone would give an award to, like, she was fucking phenomenal.
Can you really say it would never happen? How many movies came out this year? Like, there's not a lot of movies that were released this year. The 2020 Oscars are going to be very barren with films. It's a chance.
It's not, though, because the way that the Oscars work, it's only what the Academy approves, and there's no way that Borat would be an approved movie to have even, like, an actor nomination from.
Yeah, true.
Like, that's why, like, the Oscars suck for that exact reason.
Yeah.
Like, the movies that win Oscars are the movies that are literally made to win Oscars. They're not made to be good movies or to have a bunch of people go see them. They're made to win an award.
They're generally movies that, and I'm gonna use this loosely because like a lot of people do go see them, but they're generally movies that not a lot of people will go see, but are very artsy. Like,
yeah, no, that's exactly it.
But like some of these movies are legitimately really good, and a lot of people will go see them. But then there's a lot of them, like for instance, I think it was Lincoln. Like I don't think I know anybody who actually went and saw that.
No, and you know, I'm not against, like, some of those movies are very well done, and they definitely deserve the awards.
Yeah.
But they're not made to be entertaining. They're made to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, that's sort of my problem with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Borat 2 is definitely worth checking out. It was released on Amazon Prime. Like, if you have Prime, you can watch it without paying anything extra.
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I will, but I do.
It honestly was funny enough, and by the end of it, like, it actually had a pretty heartwarming, like, story and ending. In as much of a way as a movie like that could.
Yeah.
But also just seeing how fucking stupid some people are. Just how totally obliviously fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I also, we watched Child's Play, the 2019 version.
Okay.
Not very good. Not very good at all.
That's the version with Mark Hamill, right?
Mark Hamill and Aubrey Plaza.
Right, yeah.
She plays the mom. Mark Hamill is Chucky's voice. But he's not a possessed serial killer doll.
Yeah.
He's literally just he's a robotic AI doll that can interface with all of your smart devices. That somebody turned off the limiters on.
Yeah.
So like there's nothing really scary about him. He's just a fucking doll. Like, the only reason it goes as far as it does by the end of the movie is because nobody believes the kid, because that's just how those movies go.
Yeah.
But, like, I thought, like, Mark Hamill, like, I thought, like, the voice he used for it was good, like, because, like, it didn't sound like the Joker or anything like that, but, like, you could still tell it was Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
And, like, I love Aubrey Plaza. I think she's hilarious, and she got to be a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, she is my spirit animal, and, I would watch anything that she's in, but, like, I really can't, like, take her too seriously, but it's nice to hear that she got to be kind of funny.
Like, she got to be, like, her sarcastic self.
Yeah.
Like, multiple times in the movie, which, like, worked.
Yeah.
And, like, the movie wasn't super serious either. I would not recommend it, though, like, at all.
No. Like,
if it's free on, like, anything that you have, like, streaming-wise, go for it, but don't pay for it at all.
No, not at all.
And then the other one we watched was Halloween, the 2018 one. The direct sequel to the original movie that they just undo all of the other sequels with.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's not the first time. They've done that like 12 times at this point.
Yeah.
It's like every few years they undo all of the sequels. So I think it was Halloween 1 and 2 were Michael Myers. Halloween 3, I believe, is the Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
And then 4 and 5 are Michael Myers again.
I think there's actually technically like 2 Halloween 3s in that same like lineup. There was an episode of actually that I was watching. It was a Halloween episode, and they had to line up all the Halloween movies. And I think one of them, like Season of the Witch, was number 3, but there was something else that was also number 3 because Season of the Witch wasn't actually a Halloween movie, but it was still a Halloween movie or something like that. I don't know. It's weird.
So originally, the Halloween movies were supposed to be an anthology.
Yeah.
So it wasn't supposed to be Michael Myers in every movie.
Yeah.
So you have Halloween 1 and 2 are both Michael Myers. And then 3 is the one where it's supposed to be like a different story, so it has nothing to do the first 2 movies at all.
Yeah.
And then that one did very poorly. So they brought Michael Myers back with 4 and 5. And so in 4, you find out that Jamie Lee Curtis's character dies in like a car accident with her husband or something like that, and leaves behind a young daughter.
Yeah.
Who is the niece of Michael Myers. And Michael Myers escapes again and is like on the hunt, and that's basically both of those movies.
Yeah.
But then I think like by the time you get back to it, like Halloween H2O is from like 97 or 98, and I believe that's the one that Jamie Lee Curtis returns for. But that's the one where like they undo all of that other stuff because Jamie Lee Curtis was supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
But it turns out like she's just been like hiding in like plain sight, working as some sort of like head mistress of like a prep school, and her son is Josh Hartnett, I believe. Maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. Those movies, like, I'm fine with scary movies, but some of them I just don't watch, because I'm just like, there's just, like, I'm fine with bad and scary movies, but sometimes I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah, so the original Halloween is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I don't hate 4 and 5, the two with the little girl.
Yeah.
Everything after that, though, is where it gets all muddy because they keep, like, rebooting and redoing stuff. So, like, Jamie Lee Curtis has technically died, like, 3 times in these. Because she died between 2 and 4. And then, okay, so twice. Because then Resurrection, which is the one after H2O, she dies in the beginning of.
Yeah.
And then there's, like, a long spell where there's not really a Halloween. And that's where you get the Rob Zombie reboot, the Halloween and Halloween 2. Which are just like a retelling of the original movies.
Yeah.
But then we have the new trilogy that ignores everything except for the original Halloween.
Yeah.
So, and the even more confused. There are now 3 movies called Halloween.
Yeah,
that are all about Michael Myers.
It's just, it's so crazy how ridiculous that is.
But so this one from 2018 was actually, it wasn't bad. So Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode, she's basically been. She's got PTSD from what happened to her in the 70s. She lives in like a cabin kind of like in seclusion, like in the woods in whatever state they're in. Her cabin is like, she's got police scanners and security cameras. Her door has like 12 different locks on it, and she has an island in her kitchen that when she presses a button, it spins out of the way and leads to like a panic cellar room.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that panic cellar room, behind like a metal door, are all of the guns.
Yeah.
But then in this movie, she was married at some point, has a daughter. Her daughter is an adult, married, and has a daughter of her own. At some point, her daughter was taken, like Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter was taken from her, though, because she was an unfit mother, because she was basically Sarah Connor.
Yeah. Like,
she was basically training her daughter to fight her crazy brother, who, in this reality, has never escaped from the mental incident. He was arrested after the shit he did in 78, and he has been in that mental facility ever since.
Yeah.
The movie just happens to coincide with him getting transferred to an actual prison and escaping.
Yeah.
But, like, it was good. Like, I actually enjoyed it. It very much leaves itself open for the new movies, because, there is a Halloween Kills that's due out next October, and a Halloween Ends that's due out the following.
Yeah.
But, like, I will definitely see those two now, knowing that, like, that was a good reboot, and it was nice to sort of, like, clear up the continuity.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet to hear. I did hear good things about that one, and I did want to watch it, but I just never did.
Okay. So this is actually kind of funny. So on the Wikipedia page, they have a little chart that shows the continuity, and it's super confusing.
Yeah.
I'm going to send you this link real quick. Oh, where did Facebook go? There it is. Oh, there we go. Go ahead, take a look at that nonsense.
Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, I mean, it's not super confusing. It totally makes sense, but it's just...
But, like, it's so stupid that you have Halloween, and then that branches off to Halloween 2, and then Halloween again in 2018.
Yeah.
But then you've got, Halloween 2 can then go in 2 different directions.
Yeah.
But neither of them go to Halloween 3, which just kind of, like, sits out by itself. And then down in the bottom corner, you have the reboots from the mid-2000s. It's like, Jesus Christ. Also, I did not realize The Curse of Michael Myers was actually in continuity with Halloween, like, 4 and 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that I've ever seen that one either.
Neither have I.
I've never seen Season of the Witch. I know that. I've seen, like, a little bit of it. And I've seen H2O, Resurrection, and, like, the remakes and everything. But yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Halloween 5. Or no. I'm sorry, Halloween 6, I guess it would be, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched that stuff. It was good. I also watched Fight Club. That's a good movie.
Yeah, that's a good movie, but...
Man, I bought a bunch of movies from Best Buy because they were all super cheap.
Yeah, that's the best time to buy movies. I remember when Black Friday was on Black Friday and not on Thanksgiving Day. We would go to Walmart, and I would just walk away with tons of movies. Or like when I would go to Tunes and just spend $20 on like 30 movies.
Yeah, no, I mean that's usually what we do on Black Friday. Also, like we'd go to Walmart or Target and grab movies from those like those cardboard cutout stand things.
Yeah, from the bins.
But like I just happened to be looking on the website because I looked on Amazon, and Amazon had like Halloween and something else for just way too much money.
Yeah.
And so I went to Best Buy, and it was like, oh, this movie is $7.
Yeah.
And I just started like scrolling and looking, and I ended up buying like Fight Club and Halloween, the original Predator, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer, American History X, and a few other movies for like $35-$40 altogether.
Yeah.
It's like awesome, cool,
nice.
Yeah. So the Tomb Raider movie, the sequel, it's been delayed out of March 2021, and there's just no new date for it.
I forgot that they were making a second one.
It's funny because I was literally just thinking about that movie like 3 or 4 days ago, and looked to see like if the sequel was still happening. At the time it was, and then like a day later it's like, oh nope, it has been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah, which I'm not surprised with how everything's going in this world right now. I'm not surprised.
Neither am I. It is a bummer though. Did you ever see the first one?
No, I did not. I never got it. I wanted to. It looked good, but it felt like they were just redoing the first game. Or the first game of the reboot.
It follows the general setup of the game, but it is actually different.
Yeah.
So like the setting basically is the same, and the setup, but the actual story is very different.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was not great. It was good for a video game movie.
Yeah.
Like I put on the document, it was infinitely better than the garbage that was the Angelina Jolie movies.
Look, the first one was good. The second one was garbage.
No, they were both fucking garbage. I hate the movies. I also, honestly, I don't like Angelina. Like,
yeah.
I honestly don't know a single movie that I've seen with her in it that I liked her. Hackers. But I didn't really like her in it. I just liked the movie Hackers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sequel's been delayed. There's no new date. It was actually supposed to start filming over the summer, but obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah.
It was a moderate box office success, though. It had a reported budget between 90 and 100 million, and it made about 275 million globally. Mm-hmm. So, it made money back. It made at least 100 million back when you factor in, like, all of the money that doesn't get shown in a budget.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sure it'll happen eventually, but it's probably going to be a while.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And then we have Variety is reporting that Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron himself, is in talks to play Moon Knight on the previously announced Disney Plus series.
I mean, I don't really know much about Moon Knight, but I love Oscar Isaacs.
So Moon Knight is crazy Batman.
Yeah.
Like, crazier Batman.
Yes.
He wears white, so his enemies see him coming.
Okay.
He's got multiple personalities that change depending on the series. He is empowered and also worships the god of the moon, Khonshu. Okay. He doesn't really have any superpowers per se most of the time, other than being unstable.
Yeah.
He was a mercenary though. He got shot down in front of like a statue of Khonshu in Egypt, and then Khonshu resurrected him.
Yes.
And yeah, depending on the book, he'll have different personalities, kind of like coaching him. There was one series that Brian Bendis wrote where his alternate personalities were Captain America, Wolverine, and Spider-Man.
Huh.
And you legitimately don't realize until like several issues in that they aren't actually the heroes, that they are just his imagination.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a fun character. I like Moon Knight. Also, his costume's fucking cool looking.
Yeah, I do like his costume.
But yeah, I hope that happens, because I think Oscar Isaacs could actually probably do that role really well, because like, while he's crazy, he's also, depending on the story, like, he's also rich. He's like a movie star or producer or something like that. Like I think Oscar Isaac could do a good job with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then moving over to the DC universe, Jared Leto and Joe Manganiello are both apparently going to be in Snyder's Justice League as the Joker and Deathstroke.
I mean, I don't hate that. I'm just curious if this is what Snyder originally wanted and didn't get to because of time, or if he's like, now that I have the 4.5, 5 hours to fill, let me just add as much as I fucking can now.
So I think this is this is less his vision for what the Justice League should have been, and more, this is what his DCEU was going to be, but isn't happening anymore, so while they're giving him the money, do what he can.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, throw in the main villains, figure out what to do with those as well, and just, if it all works out, maybe they find a way to continue doing it, but doubtful.
Yeah, I mean, those movies made money at the box office, but, frankly, they weren't.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
What else do we have? So, Netflix, I don't know that this is going to be very good. They're working on a live-action Assassin's Creed series. This
is what, the third video game adaptation they're working on right now?
Something like that. So they actually apparently have a deal with Ubisoft for multiple projects.
Okay.
Which could include the anime series that has also been rumored for a while.
Yeah.
And then the press release that IGN reported off of described this project as epic genre-bending live-action adaptation. A search is currently underway for a showrun. So they don't have much yet.
Yeah. But that's neat. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see, sort of what angle they take with it. But, the movie from a couple years ago didn't particularly look very good. And, I don't know, video game adaptations just, we were talking about it with Tomb Raider, it might be a good video game adaptation, but it's not a good movie or series or what have you.
It's Netflix. They tend to do some really good, fantasy-style series, and I feel like this is a potential, winner. What they're working on Resident Evil series as well, and then this Assassin's Creed. I feel like there's one other video game series they have lined up.
The Witcher is a video game as well as a book series.
Well, yeah, they're doing The Witcher, which I'm not sure what they're basing The Witcher more off of.
It's more off the books.
Yeah. But I seldom I pick and choose what I watch on Netflix, but I seldom pick a bad thing on Netflix unless it's a movie. Their series tend to work. So
yeah, a lot of the shows do, but I don't know. Assassin's Creed is just such a weird thing. I just don't know if it's going to translate well to anything other than a video game format. But we'll find out.
Yeah, who knows? We'll see.
And then the last thing I have on here really is your weekly recap of your next Kaiju movie, Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Yeah, the third in the series, Godzilla vs. King Kong, was not available on HBO Max, so I had to watch it on YouTube dubbed. I'm assuming it was the original dubbing and not their own home dub. And this movie, you can obviously tell, was made for both American and Japanese audiences. They constantly jumped back and forth between a news station reporting, basically, where they were reporting in English and it was their original English voices, but then the Japanese people speaking in Japanese would be dubbed over.
That's super weird.
Yeah, and sometimes there were times there at one point when they get to Kong's Island, it's not Skull Island, it's just some different island in the Mediterranean Sea, not Mediterranean, whatever that, Asian Sea area is. I don't remember what it's at, what the region would actually be called. But, they're on Kong's Island, and they have, the natives there chanting and everything, and when they're sitting there chanting, or when they're talking in their native speak, they're using the original language, but then the person who's there as the translator talks to the native person in the Japanese language of whatever the native language they were using, and then walks over and they dubbed it over with just a bad high-pitched version of what they thought his voice kind of maybe possibly sounded like. And it was so offsetting and bad. I can't really explain it any better, but its normal voice would be and then his dub voice would be I don't really know how well that translated in audio, but it was bad.
Yeah, that just, I don't know, I don't mind anime dubs. Even bad anime dubs I can deal with.
Yeah.
But live action dubs just, I can't do them, and I feel like that kind of dub would just be ooh.
Yeah, like it was weird. It was awkward. I feel like this movie was made for American audiences as well as Japan, like more for the U.S. audience because of the King Kong aspect. It wasn't good. The fights weren't good. King Kong just looked bad. It was overall. This was the first Godzilla movie that I sat there and kind of regretted watching.
Oh, that's a bummer.
At least,
so what's the next one then?
The next one is Godzilla vs. Mothra.
And is that one available on like a?
It is available
on regular
on
platform.
It's available on HBO Max. The next one that is not available on HBO Max or any other platform in this series is like the second to last movie, and that one it's not even available on YouTube. I don't think. I'm gonna have to pay for it, probably.
When does he fight Mechagodzilla?
Does he fight Mechagodzilla in this iteration? I don't think he does. I will look it up real quick. Movie, the wiki. I don't think he plays Godzilla or fights Mechagodzilla until
it's the 14th film, 1974, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
Yeah, so it's
a Toho.
That is actually the second to last film in this series. So that one is available. It's All Monsters Attack, which would be the 10th film, is not available on HBO Max. It's from 1969. Which is weird that these two aren't available on HBO Max. I don't know why. But yeah, that's when he fights Mechagodzilla, and then Terror of Mechagodzilla, which is the 15th film, has Mechagodzilla 2. But like it is the worst one so far. I don't know how other people feel about it, but I think King Kong vs. Godzilla was bad.
Now, is it bad, or is it just because it was poorly dubbed?
I think it was just bad. Like it kind of didn't really make a lot of sense to me. Like the first Godzilla was like, oh, Godzilla is attacking Japan because he's awoken from the atomic bomb, and he was just attacking, and it wasn't about Godzilla and more about like Japan coming back from the atomic bomb and trying to live life normal. That's what they were trying to portray with Godzilla. Godzilla Raids Again, like it had like it was good because like the story kind of worked where like he got the second Godzilla, this new Godzilla that's been around, that's in all of these versions until he finally dies at the end of this. He happens to be awoken and he's fighting Angurius, and then like he just starts to go to Japan and they try to stop him from raiding Japan, and instead Angurius attacks Japan and then they fight, and then he just goes off on his own, and like it kind of works. Whereas in King Kong vs. Godzilla, it's straight up the reason King Kong is in Japan is because a TV producer wanted his own giant monster. That's it. And so they find out that there is this god on an island. They go get this god, which happens to be King Kong, and in order to catch them, he drinks this juice that, like, it's a narcotic. It's a non-addictive narcotic that would put him to sleep. And then they just loaded him up on this raft that they built on the island while he was asleep somehow. And then at one point he started to wake up and cause issues. They blow up the raft, and then he can just walk on water.
Wow.
And happens to just walk to Japan, and then is just at Japan for no reason. And like Godzilla was the same. Like Godzilla was just in Japan for no reason. They're like, oh well, we think he's trying to go home, and his home was here in Japan, but it all looks different, which is why he's attacking things. Because like they kind of at the end of Godzilla Raids Again, they cover him in ice, and so I don't know, but I think they believe that Godzilla in King Kong vs. Godzilla is supposed to be a even newer Godzilla that woke up in a random ice pack, when it's supposed to be the same Godzilla from 55 in Godzilla Raids Again that woke up in the ice pack that they created when they captured it.
Yeah, I was going to say, are all the Godzillas in the movie supposed to be the same Godzilla?
With the exception of Godzilla 1, everything from Godzilla 2, like from Godzilla Raids Again, all the way down is the same, is supposed to be the same Godzilla.
And, oh god, there was another question I was going to have. When does Godzilla become sort of like the hero?
Probably Ghidorah versus Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, because it's King Ghidorah, Rodan, and Mothra are all the villains. Like, he's not, like, I think that's when he starts to be used to save the planet, is when he starts, like, fighting the monsters more so than just attacking Japan. Mothra versus Godzilla, he is still, I think Mothra is more the protagonist than Godzilla in that one.
Yeah, no, from what I've read, like, in the past, like, Mothra is actually not really a villain.
No.
Like, it's actually intelligent and can speak with its two weird alien human people that are connected to its antennas.
Yeah. It's weird. Mothra is so weird, but awesome.
So, just, I just want to throw this out here, because I was skimming a little bit while you were talking, the Wikipedia for King Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was the most attended Godzilla film in Japan, at least at that point, and it was responsible for them actually prioritizing more Godzilla movies after it being dormant for like 7 years between the second one and this one.
Interesting.
And apparently, the English version is heavily edited.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if like the dub that you saw is actually the real movie, or if it's the actual one that was released in America that is just super edited and apparently not good.
I think that's what it is. It's super edited, and probably a lot of the stuff that would connect the story together was just them in the TV studio talking about things. Would be like, this is what you're supposed to learn now, but you're not going to learn it because we lost the film or whatever. Probably. Is this the first Godzilla movie that was in color though? So
apparently that is true too.
That is a big step.
That was the other thing I saw on that Wikipedia page.
Yeah. And it was, what is the Akko? Apparently there's a second monster in King Kong vs. Godzilla that I don't even remember. Oh, that's right. King Kong fights a giant octopus in that movie. And it was so weird. But, yeah, It is my least favorite thus far. I've only watched 3. It is my least favorite thus far. However, I do know probably Son of Godzilla is not really that good. Destroy All Monsters, I believe it is, or maybe All Monsters Attack is also not that good. But it's like, it's weird because Godzilla dies, but then Godzilla's son absorbs his powers and then becomes Godzilla. And I think it's Ebirah, Horror of the Deep. Might be Ebirah, it might be... Is it Hedorah? It's Gigan. It's Godzilla vs. Gigan. The suit starts to tear during their fight.
Oh god, really?
Yeah. One of them, his suit starts to tear. I'd have to... Every time I watch these, afterwards I go back and watch the same video on YouTube that is just the evolution of Godzilla. It's a 10-minute movie, or it's a 10-minute thing on YouTube. It's animated, and it just shows like how he changes from movie to movie. It's actually kind of cool that like it might be like a fun quick watch just to see how he changes. And that's one of the things that they mentioned is like in his fight, I believe against Gigan, his suit starts to tear apart, and you can start to see the fluff. And I say this every week. I really want to watch Shin Godzilla. It looks ridiculous, but I'm gonna wait until I get to it. I'm 30 movies away, so...
Yeah, you'll be there eventually.
I'll be there next year.
But I think that is the end of this week's show.
Yeah, I don't need to talk about Avengers. I'll talk about it next week.
Alright, that works. This has been a long one.
Yes.
So, cool. Well, if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform and rate us, review us, subscribe to us, all that fun stuff. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, basically anywhere podcasts are served. You can also find us on social media. We're at facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. Or you can send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And yeah, that'll do it. We'll be back next week with something else. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.